Welcome back, everybody, to another Wednesday of episode of the Pulse. Generally speaking, I go around and give me 1 second. All right, I think I'm okay now. Ask everybody how they're doing, but because of the nature of one of the topics we are going to cover tonight, I am going to just jump right in. Uh, on May 28th, 23, it was a Memorial Day weekend, and I was just reading this article. A shop owner, Rick Chow, chased a young boy. I want to point out that it was a very young, a 14-year-old kid who had just graduated 8th grade, by the way.
Mm.
But the shop owner, Rick Chow, and his son chased the 14-year-old out of the convenience store on a hunch that he had stolen water bottles. The chase happened for upwards to, as authorities say, 130 yards. Now, during this time, the deceased was frantically running to the point that he ran out of his shoes. He fell,
Mm.
and during his falling, he dropped a weapon. But
And
this
that dropping of
14-year-old
what?
kid,
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's jump this quick.
yep,
That dropping of the firearm that was never in dispute. It was never in dispute that he had the firearm. The question is,
Mhm.
since we're in the chase scene, we're out of the store. We'll go back to the store. When he fell, did any of those witnesses see that loaded firearm, that loaded gun fall off of him? Because I heard there was conflicting stories.
So the stories that I read, people said they saw him running, but they did not see him brandishing or pointing or
That's
carrying the weapon. They didn't see that, right?
so that's me. That's the biggest.
Uh,
My biggest thing is the firearm
yeah.
loaded the gun.
As a matter of fact, the defense attorney said in 30 years of him practicing law, he's never seen anything of this nature, where a 14-year-old kid who was accused of stealing water out of a convenience store gets killed after a 130-yard chase.
So I know sometimes I cut people off, and I apologize for that. People who've watched this show have seen me defend police officers on more than one occasion. Okay. And I always say I want to take this case by case by case. Each case is different. But this gun issue situation, I don't want to come across as being prejudiced against Asian people, because I had a lot of questions, and I can't understand how the jury. No, I'm sorry. Keep going. Just keep going, because I have so much. Uh,
All right, Kanye, you gonna let him finish?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Right, man. You're right. You're right.
You gonna cut people off and then,
I'm sorry.
and you
Yeah.
gonna grab it out the air and then not dunk it. Come on, let's go, Jay. Keep finish your thought, because I'm getting upset.
Oh, I'm ridiculously upset, and I
As you're
take
telling
this
me this
personally.
story, I'm getting more elevated. So keep going.
Yeah, and I'm horribly upset, and I'm taking this so personal. I have 4 children. My oldest will be 17 in July. My second oldest just turned 15. My youngest daughter is 11. My son is 9. My youngest daughter is going to the 7th grade. My second oldest daughter is about to be a sophomore. This kid didn't even get the chance to step into the halls of a high school because of the alleged theft of water bottles. This kid didn't even get the chance to go to a prom, to play on a high school team. He didn't get the opportunity to even experience what a high school classroom feels like. And the prosecutor makes the claim, well, what is a 14-year-old doing running around Columbia, South Carolina anyway? Should he have had a pistol? No, he should not have. Did he threaten anyone? And I'd also like to say, I don't think the defense attorney did the best job with actually cleaning up, clarifying, and moving aside the story that the prosecuting attorney was actually presenting. Actually, let me flip that around because Chow was a defense.
Exactly.
He was defense. So I'm flipping that around.
Okay.
Right. The defense attorney did, let's be honest, a spectacular job with painting the picture that somebody's life was in jeopardy. And it just so happens that Chow was an authorized permit carrying weapon owner, right? So he was legal.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Chow, yeah, the convenience store owner. He had a license.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
You said child. Okay.
Yeah, Chow.
It sounded like you said child. I was like,
My bad. Yeah, no, child. Not a 14-year-old child is not legal. No, absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, I hope and pray. And I'm glad you looked up the jury, and we're going to jump to that in a second once I get off the soapbox. But I hope and pray that community and the communities around the United States see that. We've been in these streets marching for motherfuckers for forever. We've marched for civil rights. We've had hoses, so on and so forth, turned on us. We've gone to try and open up our own stores. When we had our own successes, we were bombed. Domestic terrorism was committed against us. So we began to become patrons of the corner stores that popped up, of convenience stores that popped up that aren't owned by us. These good folks don't live in our neighborhoods. They stay far off. They don't pay taxes. They don't pay school taxes. None of the money that we're giving these folks comes back to our neighborhoods, and they are allowed to kill us as well.
Yep, and they hike their prices too.
Yeah.
And have problems with, some of them have problems with messing with the children in the community, doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing to children.
And so I hope we see this, and this begins to become another push to register to vote, and not just register, but execute on that register, so you can, like the president has been saying, so that you can be selected to sit on these juries, so that we can be the main makeup of these things, of people that are getting picked, so that we can at least have a shot at it. I don't know what happened with this jury, right? That I can't call it. But what I do know is that, like I've been telling us, we have to withdraw our economic power at large and protect ourselves. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Rich, by all means, lean in on it.
Well, I want to be consistent. I say I look at everything case by case. And not every case situation where the police have interacted with African Americans did I agree that the police acted incorrectly. But I go case by case. This case is very interesting to me. All right. So the first thing I want to know is, did the young man steal the water? Per the videotape inside that store, he took the bottles and then he put them back.
Yes.
All right. And then there was a confrontation over what I don't know. Now, there's a part of me with my experience dealing with Asian people. When you go to an Asian store, now stop me if I'm being racist, stop me if I'm being incorrect.
Stop.
Say some Asian people.
You gotta say that.
Hold on. I'm glad they did that. Hold on. I'm glad that Stephanie and Lynn
Allegedly.
No. I'm glad that they did that because I want y'all to hold me accountable because I want to be consistent.
Yeah, and we know that that's not your intent, but at the same time, you know, we have to say some. Yeah.
Right. So there are some Asians that when you go inside their stores, if you pick something up, you just bought it.
Right.
And now that's my experience on the West Coast. All right, with some Asian people. If you go in and you pick up something, put your hands on it, you just bought it. If you said, well, if a brother said, well, nah, you know, I'm checking my money, I ain't really got it, man, I'm gonna put this stuff back. I ain't trying to really have no hard time. And then there was a confrontation in the store. Confrontation. That video camera did not show that young black man, you say 14-year-old Cyrus, pulling out his
weapon
gun and saying, you know what? Yeah, I'll put the water back, but now that I think about it, I'm gonna go back and get the water and walk out here. You ain't gonna do a damn thing about it. That did not happen.
Nope.
Yeah, he was a young boy, not even a young man. That was a child.
So, and I think about the Tamir Rice situation back in Cleveland years ago. All right, so there is no videotape evidence of him still in the water, but there's evidence of him putting the water back that was not disputed. There is no evidence of him pointing out the gun that he had and pointing it at Mr. Chow, or more importantly, the son Andrew Chow, and putting your life in danger. Now, if I'm wrong, then let me stop. But I'm still trying to find out, where did Cyrus pull out his gun and point it at either Mr. Chow or his son in that store? Because normally at the cash register, they have the cameras up. So if you try to say, hey, give me your money, and you ain't all hooded up and masked up,
right,
they'll shoot your camera.
Right.
And there's no camera at the door. So now I'm confused. So then I take it a step further. So I pull out my gun and say, man, I ain't still no water, back up off me. You pull out the gun, okay? Then they're like, oh, okay, we don't want no problem. And then you decide to just casually walk out the store. Most brothers that I know, I don't care if they're 14, 15, or 45, if you pull a gun on somebody, you ain't turning your back and walking out. You walking out with your back, and you looking at them while you walking out, getting that door, because you don't know what they're going to do. Now, witnesses say they saw the boy running for his life, looked like he was scared. If Mr. Chow or his son Andrew was so scared of him pointing the gun at Andrew, allegedly, you so scared, but he walks out the store. So now your scene inside the store is safe. You are safe because the 14-year-old radical has left the store. And you still alive to tell about it after he pointed the gun at you, and somehow the safety was still on. Man, Stephanie, y'all, this is how I say this. I think about that man down in Houston a couple years ago. The safety didn't come off, and so you walk out of there, and their lives are safe. But that's not good enough for Mr. Chow. Now here's where it gets racial. I'm just gonna say it like that. Had been a white boy. No problem. He walking on back to his car or his pickup truck and driving or walking out of there. But he don't have to worry about somebody trying to run him down. Oh my God. Now I see Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. Okay. So,
it's making me thinking of giving me flashbacks of Trayvon.
Hold on. Exactly. Now, because in that situation, I believe he could have saved his life. But in this case, this boy's running. And I always tell young black men, don't you ever run because you just got shot. Don't you ever run. I don't care how scared you are. And we go all the way back in time. We keep saying this, and it keeps happening over and over again. But the bottom line is, he's running for his life. Most brothers that I know, even young brothers, if they have a firearm, if they have a gun on them, they ain't running, they shooting. Okay? So my question is, Mr. Child, you felt so endangered by this man, this young man, that when he left the store, you have to run him down, not in the first 10 yards, not in the first 40 yards, but over a 100-yard dash, you running him down. And then you don't say, well, hey, turn around and let me look at you and stuff so I can identify you when I report you for trying to steal some water that you didn't steal. You shoot the man in the back. Now, this is where I get racial. Now, stop here. You let that be my black ass, and I'm the store owner down in South Carolina. And you let me shoot some young white boy, 14 years old, in the back. Oh, you already know I'm getting the death penalty. That's murder. Now, usually, I take case by case, and I think Trayvon could have saved his life. George Floyd should still be alive. But in this particular case here, I think this touches my heart. Because I don't think that boy pointed that gun in that store the way they claim. I believe that's an absolute lie. I believe the boy said, hey, I have enough money to buy the water, and they got into a confrontation, and the boy walked out, and next thing you know, he's being chased. Now, why did he have that firearm, that gun on him? We'll keep talking about that part. Because I can't figure that one out.
I'll say it because unfortunately, it's a fad. It's a fad. These kids, they think that if you got a brown belt, you got to have a brown toolie, because they don't understand weapon safety, don't understand the functioning, the actual reason why if you're carrying a weapon, you should have a weapon. I keep telling people, if I have to keep my weapon on me when I go to a place, I don't go to the place. There's no point in me being there. I'm not finna. I don't want to be in danger. I'm not going to voluntarily put myself in danger.
Again, it was proven. This is what gets me. It was not proven that Cyrus stole the water, because I think it's on video. He put the water back, so he didn't take the water.
Well, you know what's frustrating me here is it feels like we all read a different story. The story I read talked about 4 bottles of water.
Yeah.
And then Jay Glass, did you say he dropped water when he fell out of his shoes?
No.
He was running, so he was running in such a frantic manner that he ran out of his shoes.
But was water in that?
No.
Okay, because I thought I heard or read or whatever about him dropping water when he was shot.
No, he dropped his weapon. He dropped that weapon.
Just the weapon.
Yeah.
So you know, when you're in the store, and it's hearsay because I have no idea. But you know, if you're picking up something and you're in the store where you don't particularly feel like you are welcome.
I agree with her. I agree with her on that.
You put it back, and then you leave because you don't have to buy from their store. That's happened, I'm sure, to all of us at some point. So I don't know, but it kind of feels like it's smelling something like that to me, where maybe they exchanged words that way and he left. And that guy got mad and ran after him because he don't, like to be talked to us. You can dish it out, but you can't take it type deal. And don't want to be in the store. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
But I'm going to keep going back to this.
Does that make sense?
If the video in the store showed that young man, that 14-year-old Cyrus, putting that water back, because it says here, it was not proven that Cyrus stole the water, because if the Asian man had said, if Mr. Child had said the man stole the water, well, where's the water at when you shot him? So he did not walk out of that store with that water, period. Now, Mr. Child says that you pointed that gun.
This was go ahead, keep going. This was to answer Lynn's.
What I'm saying is lines of what you received. All right. So he did not steal the water. He picked up the water. He put the water back for whatever reason.
So after they leave the store, it's on them. Because he's no longer in your store, no longer in your jurisdiction. He's out. He doesn't have anything, and you pursue him.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he's inside the store and he put that water back, and I believe Mr. Rick Chow, confronted him and said, "Hey, you picked up that water. You got to buy that water." Now, here's the thing I would tell any young African American: don't ever pick up nothing don't pick up nothing in that store that you're not willing to buy right then, because this type of situation can happen, and it's happened before in the past. Okay, but young African American people are going to say, "Hey, if I can pick it up, I can look at it with my hands. If I don't want to buy it, I'll put it back." First
thing I tell my kids when we go into the store: don't touch nothing.
That's old school thinking. Yeah, I was raised the same way.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that is so.
That's a shame, because how am I going to look? I'm trying to. Yeah. That happened to me. Not this situation, but a couple of years ago, I was in a grocery store here called HEB, and I was in the hair. They have a section for ethnic hair, so I was looking at some products. So, we pick up stuff and we smell a bottle and stuff like that. This woman comes to me and tells me that I shouldn't pick up things. And I said, "Excuse me." And she was not even from the country. It doesn't matter.
Did she work at the store?
Yeah, she worked at the store. She worked in that department. And she told me that I was opening up the products and trying the products. And I'm like, "Ma'am, even if I were, it's not your business," but I wasn't. And it's my right to touch anything in there that I want to and put it back. It's a big, giant grocery store. So I got her name from her tag because I engaged her. And then I went and reported her to 3 different managers because she was rude to me. And they said, what a shock. We've had plenty of complaints from her.
Yeah.
Well, what you just said, Stephanie, lines up with, quote, 2 prior incidents involving child shooting at somebody after he said he had been assaulted or threatened, authorities said in 2023. So what you said, Stephanie, lines up with the bottom part of this statement, of this news article. I'm still trying to figure out.
But let me go through this quickly. This quick part, that way for anyone who doesn't understand where we are and what we're talking about, it'll help clear up some of their confusion, right? It says, what happened in 2023 shooting? Authorities have said that Cyrus entered the Shell gas station Express Smart convenience store at about 8 p.m. on Monday, 20th, 2023. The boy picked up 4 water bottles from a cooler but put them back. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott said at the time, Chow suspected him of shoplifting, and there was a verbal altercation, officials said. Chow and his son chased the boy out of the store and off to store property for about 130 yards. Cyrus fell at one point during the chase but kept going. Chow shot him in the back as he was running away, authorities said in 2023. A gun was found near Cyrus's body, but the sheriff said at the time that the boy did not point it or brandish it before he was shot. Cyrus was shot.
What? Stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out where this gun came from. Because
are you thinking it wasn't his gun?
I don't know. But
okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Finish reading it.
Okay. Cyrus was shot once in the back. His death was ruled a homicide by the county coroner. In the wake of the shooting, community members protested at the gas station. One peaceful protest ended with the store being broken into and vandalized, officials said. Signs placed on the window said "Justice for Cyrus." Officials said soon after the shooting in 2023 that Chow had a concealed carry permit for his gun. Hundreds of calls for the service at the gas station had been made in the 5 years prior to the shooting, with several instances of shoplifting at the store, officials said. Multiple reports had been filed against Chow after other confrontations with customers, officials previously said. Charges had not been filed against Chow. 2 prior incidents involved Chow shooting at somebody after he said he had been assaulted or threatened, authorities said in 2023. So that's where, sorry about that, but that's where those are the details that we're talking about.
You go back to that gun issue thing. That's where this man got off at. Because as long as they can say, well, you had a gun on you, so I had to blow your brains out. So go back to that part on that article where it talks about the gun.
I thought he argued that the boy threatened his son with a gun.
Exactly.
That's what it came down to being. Yeah. And so
go back up for a second. Go back up.
Oh, higher. I know he's talking about.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Right, stop right there. No. The key disagreement over the teen's gun. That's the part.
Okay. The key piece in the murder trial was whether Cyrus pointed a gun at Child's son at some point during the chase. Prosecutors conceded that the boy had a gun, but said he didn't use it or brandish it. Why was Cyrus right in having a pistol in his pocket on May 28, 2023? No. Was it legal for Cyrus to have a pistol in his pocket on May 28, 2023? No. Prosecutor Dale Scott said during closing arguments, did he deserve to die? No. Multiple witnesses testified they saw Cyrus running from Child and his son, and the teen didn't have anything in his hand, Scott said during closing arguments. At some point during the chase, when Cyrus fell, the gun fell out of his pocket and he picked it up and kept going, Scott said. Child's son said that the teen had a gun, and the defense attorney said Child then saw the gun in his hand. Child's son testified that the gun was pointed at him, and defense lawyer Sean Kent said during his closing arguments that Cyrus ignored Child telling him to put it down. Kent argued that Cyrus's death was not because Child believed he stole a water bottle, but because Child believed Cyrus was going to shoot his son. If Rick Child executed a human being over a $1 bottle of water, enjoy hell, Kent said. This case is not about a shoplifter. This case is about a father who sees a gun pointed at his son and had to make a decision, Kent said. I hate it. I hate that a young man lost his life. And that's that part.
You know what? Let's go back and read this again.
Yeah.
Read that key disagreement over the teen's gun. Could you read it again a little slower?
Yeah.
Okay.
The key piece in the murder trial was whether Cyrus pointed a gun at Child's son at some point during the chase.
Wait, stop right there. During the chase, so not in the store, but during the chase, right?
During the chase, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Prosecutors conceded that the boy had the gun, but said he didn't use it or brandish it. Was Cyrus right in having a pistol in his pocket on May 28th, 2023? No. Was it legal for Cyrus to have a pistol in his pocket on May 28th, 2023? No. Prosecutor Dale Scott said during closing arguments, did he deserve to die?
No.
No is the answer. I agree. Multiple witnesses testified they saw Cyrus running from Child and his son, and the team didn't have anything in his hand.
If you had a gun, you big and bad. So now I see why the president, meaning the one on the screen, not oh boy.
What was the charge? What was the county? What was the state charging?
Murder.
So they were charging murder, first degree murder.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, it started right there. First, you got it. That's got to be some overwhelming stuff to prove that first degree murder. So why not go after manslaughter, second degree murder, something like that?
Well, because if it manslaughter and homicide, they carry different definitions for an actual action, right? Murder is they leaned on murder because it's the definition of what happened during the legal definition of what happened during the action, or from an action that resulted in a death. A homicide is, I can't remember how it's defined legally, but manslaughter is pretty much an accidental death due to
it goes on intent.
Yeah.
So murder, when you get murder, they're moving towards that's what you intended to do. You intended to take someone's life. That's the hardest one to convict on. So that's why they go manslaughter.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So I'm thinking, how you get mad? So I'm thinking with the young man. I think that I'm not blaming black people, in a sense, because this guy has clearly showed that he don't respect our community.
Yeah.
By several times by shooting at somebody. So to me, he was gonna do it till he got it right.
Right.
Okay, so that's me. He's gonna do it till he got it right. And when I go on the prosecutor side, when he said, did he have a gun? Did he have a gun? Was he legal supposed to have a gun? This and that. I don't think. To be honest with you, I don't think the prosecutor even wanted to bring the charges. I think he only did it because of the pressure that he was getting.
You know what, Mr. Wig? I believe you're right that, to me, the murder charge was the correct charge. And there was political pressure. Because if he had just brought manslaughter, black folks would have threw a fit. So he said, okay, we're gonna go for broke and call it murder. But in this particular case, in my opinion, Mr. Wig, This was murder. Because
I'm not saying it wasn't murder, my man. I ain't saying it wasn't murder. I'm just saying if the prosecutor felt that he could have got away with it,
right.
he wouldn't even brought charges.
So listen to this.
I feel like as soon as they exited the store, that was like you are in. It's totally different now because inside your store, okay, that's your jurisdiction, right? And the evidence is there whether you see it or not. It's on camera that the water bottles were left in the store. When you leave the store to pursue this person, to me that shows that you had content.
And you know what, Stephanie? I had just wrote that down. I said, why was Cyrus chased? Who initiated the chase? Okay, and that was Mr. Chow.
But intent to take his life?
Intent.
So
the intent would be hard to prove.
That's why it's so hard to. That's why it's so hard to prove.
But why else? Why else would you leave your store?
Right.
You leave everything. That's 4 bottles of water, okay? But you leave everything else to go and pursue this this boy for whatever reason. They were fussing and fighting or whatever. So to me, it was an ego thing. You got a gun chasing this boy who does not have anything that belongs to you.
Well, first, I agree. My thing is this: you said the intent. When he left that store to chase that young man, there was your intent. He was intent on doing anything he could to get his kind of justice.
I could argue. See, I can argue. His intent was to send a message.
Okay.
He's already done it.
No.
And he got away with sending a message with shooting people before.
No.
So he thought it was okay.
No, stick to in this instance.
Right.
You know, sometimes I know as a man, I will step to someone in such a way where you will never, whatever it is you did to offend me, you're never doing that again.
That's why I said ego.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want you in my store ever again. So I'm scared of out of you.
Right.
Not
right.
murder you. Because and let me hold on. I'm gonna give y'all a story right now. When I was young, late teens, early 20s, I worked for an Israeli-owned clothing store. Now, do you know what we did in that clothing store when we caught shoplifters?
Beat them.
Hold on, Jay. Before beating them, the door was locked.
Yeah.
We locked them in, and we gave them some. And one day I asked my owner, Israeli owner, I said, Joe, why are we doing this? And this is what he said. He said, if I call the police, I got to go to court. The kid might go to jail. He said this way, they learn a lesson. But here's the craziest part. Do you know what some of those people that got tuned up would do when they got money? Come back to the store and spend it with him. But here's the day, and I'll never forget this, because me and my buddy Ahmed, we were on the train after work. And I said, yo, ain't that the dude we beat up the other day? On the train with us. We slipping. He said, yeah, that's him. I said, man, I ain't doing that shit no more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, I became a door blocker. But I never laid hands on another brother after that.
Do you remember that store called Gus?
Yep, I remember Gus.
I told Lynn that was the equivalent. I don't know if Gus was Jewish. I don't know what I think it was just an older white man.
No, I think he was Italian cat. Yeah,
he was Italian. Yeah. But that was the same kind of setup. He had everything that we liked. All the jeans, all the jackets. The jeans was creased.
Yep.
And they had Stacey Adams. They had whatever it is that we needed for Easter, graduation, funeral. Right? No. So it's the same setup.
Stephanie, if a brother had gone inside Gus and tried to steal something, Gus wouldn't have to do anything. Another brother could stop him.
They would
So,
shoot him.
No, I definitely see what I'm saying is in my scenario, guns never. It was these.
But check this out.
It was all hands.
Now, hold on. Stephanie makes the point. When Mr. Child decided to leave the store after this young black man, and you know you have a licensed firearm on you, and you wanted to just scare him, put your firearm back in the store, because at that point, you didn't know if that man had a gun or not. And so all these multiple witnesses are saying they never saw the young man Cyrus pull out that gun while he's running, pull out the gun, point it at Andrew, and then turn back around and keep running again. You know what I see? This is an absolute lie. Now,
Well, that's what the son said when he was on the stand. I was watching
Why
his
would you be,
testimony.
if you are suited up, what if I'm such a big bad black, look, this is a child, but if I'm so big and bad, if I got a gun, why am I running from you and your son? Y'all finna jump me? I'm not running from you with a gun.
We have to remember, just to put things back into context, this was a kid that had just graduated. Eighth.
I know, but we keep giving him these like he Omar from The Wire. No,
Yeah,
He's a boy.
he is not.
So yeah, a boy like Jay said with a gun will run.
Yes,
You know what? Because he ain't no killer.
Right.
he's not.
He ain't no killer. Like if you saw the Shy on Sunday, what did he tell him? He said,
But my
"Don't ever
question
use
is,
a gun
how did they?
unless you intend to use it."
Use it.
How did they establish? See, here's where the case was already lost. See, because I've lost enough in court to tell you when the cases are already lost. As soon as they established that young black man, that 14-year-old Cyrus, had this alleged firearm, this loaded gun, as soon as they made that establishment, the case was lost right then.
And that's what I said. That's what I was saying about the prosecutor. That's why I said that's what I was saying about the prosecutor.
So the same thing for Michael Brown and Ferguson. The minute it showed him putting his hands, getting aggressive,
prosecutors
is lost.
Listen, prosecutors do not bring cases that they do not believe they can win. They don't do that because the only way to elevate in the prosecution world is your prosecution rate.
Lynn, respectfully, I have to disagree tonight on that point. Respectfully.
I understand what you're saying too, Lynn, but I just don't think my man gave a full
cases
effort.
that they don't believe they can win.
I don't think he gave a full effort on this one.
I think
that's different. That's different.
That's
and see, here's the thing: like he may not have made the decision to bring the case to trial. Like if you watch Law and Order, you got Jack up here, but then you got his boy that's going to go into the courtroom and do the thing.
Right.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He don't bring his best effort because of the way he feels about the case.
I wonder what the jury looked like.
Now I was just finna say that we lost.
Like.
We lost.
There was 5 white, 5 black,
and 2 others. Now listen to this. I'm always complaining about black folks not being registered voters and not going to the jury summons. These black folks were registered voters. They answered the jury summons and they were picked by Baugh. 3 black men, 2 black women.
But guess where they are?
South Carolina in that county.
They're in the South.
Because they still got to live there.
Yeah.
So
right.
I want to be consistent. Hold on, wait a minute. I want to be consistent.
Go ahead.
Because I've been yelling and screaming this for the last 6 to 8 months. I've been screaming about black folks not being registered voters and answering jury summons and not being picked for Baugh. I've been screaming this. These 5 black folks did their job. They answered. They got selected. They listened to the evidence and they said no murder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how did they conclude not guilty?
Yeah. Oh, because the key word was, like you keep saying, is malice. Did he go in with malice to do a murder? Intent, right. So my thing is, if I had been one of those African-American jurists, it would have been a hung jury. Because to me, that was malice. Because I just don't feel, well, hold on. when you was reading that statement about other people making complaints about Mr. Child, were they all African American? Were some of them white? Were some of them, I guess, Latino? I guess there's Latinos in South Carolina now. I want to know what the racial aspect of those complaints were, because I still find it hard to believe that Mr. Child would have chased a young white man, a young 14-year-old white boy out of that store. I find that hard to believe. I do. But if I'm being racially sensitive, then I'm guilty of that in this particular case. Because I just know if I had owned that store and I had to chase Jimmy Joe out that store, hey, Jimmy Joe, you picked up the water, but when you saw my black ass behind the counter, you said, well, I ain't buying from no N-word, so I didn't know y'all had got this store. So he walks out of there. Did I run out of there and confront him while he's running? And then I shoot him in his back? And you don't think my black ass ain't getting the death penalty? Please.
Like every Western that I've ever watched has always talked bad about a man who would shoot another person in the back.
Okay, police shoot you in the back like that? Can the police shoot you in the back when you're running from a
that's like
situation dictates.
Spitting on people, slapping the person, shooting them in the back. That goes in. It's disrespectful. And if you shoot somebody in the back, you're also a coward.
Yeah, because they were at that point that you shot them, they were no threat to you.
Listen to this. You're claiming that while he was being chased, first he was being chased, he spun around and pointed his gun at Child, and then spun back around and kept running, and now they keep chasing him. That's the same shit that on the Trayvon Martin.
I told you.
The 9/11 operator said, Mr. Zimmerman, let the police handle this. Leave that man alone. Leave Trayvon Martin alone. He kept going anyway.
Leave that boy alone.
If I'm chasing a white boy down the street and the cops say, Mr. Brown, leave Mr. Kaninsky alone, we'll handle it. And I said, well, no, I'm going to go on down and handle it myself. And then I'll shoot that young white man.
That's what it reminds me of. Yeah. And those are boys. They are not men. They are boys. They are children.
Even if he had been a grown man, when they left the store, your scene is safe.
Is the son an adult?
Yes.
Andrew Child?
Yes.
Okay.
In the article.
20?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the street version. Mr. Child and his punk ass son, they think they bad. And they coming out here, look, hollering and screaming and being disrespectful to our people. That's what it sounds like.
And the problem is
people. Some of our people didn't go in there and disrespect them because look, people are rowdy. It don't matter what race you are, they rowdy. They go in there messing with your stuff, messing up your store, all that kind of stuff. But it's not everybody. I can see Child being upset. You're a store owner and all that, but he crossed the line literally and figuratively when he went over the threshold of his door in pursuit of this boy, with he and his son going after this boy with a gun. And the boy didn't have anything from his store.
Remember, with Trayvon Martin, I said that man could have, that young man, the minute he started fighting George Zimmerman, I said it's over. But in this case, this boy wasn't even fighting them. They alleged with this gun. And I keep saying, if multiple witnesses are saying they didn't see the gun, they didn't see him pull out this gun and brandish it. Because if I'm running from you, but then I stop, while I'm running, I do a dead stop, turn around. I guess my gun's in my.
Like he on a Matrix or something. Look.
No, somebody's lying.
Trinity falling out the window shooting. No.
This is, and I'm not.
So
here's the thing.
Again, I listened. I listened to the son's testimony, and it was BS.
Hold on, you got the transcript? Because I couldn't get the transcript.
I'll see if I can find the transcript. If I do, I'll send it to you.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, that transcript is not available because I want to see that transcript.
But I'll look for it. I'll look for it.
Wait a minute,
Oscar, jump in there, man. Welcome back. It's been a while.
Hola, Oscar.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
I'm just trying to catch up with everybody's conversation and talking points. So, yeah, I mean, but just a little chime in here. Yeah, I think any case where you have a person that has been shot, dead, or just shot with their backs turned, that automatically escalates the case, because you can't have an excuse of I was being attacked directly, right? I was fearing for my life.
Or self-defense.
Exactly. It was an immediate threat coming my way, when somebody turns, it makes it a lot harder because you go, was that person running? If their back is turned, was that person not trying to find their way away, right? So I definitely think there's a lot of BS happening here.
So
Hey,
situation, go ahead, Wig.
hey, real quick. What was that one gentleman's name that got shot in the back by the police officer, Walter Scott or something like that? Didn't the
Oh,
police
Oh,
officer?
in North Carolina, right?
oh, I thought it was in. Okay, because somebody else got shot. They were running.
Yeah, he was
And
running
he got
away
shot in the
on
back.
on the video.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
That's
So
North Carolina.
Okay.
so,
Hey,
so,
no.
no, it was South Carolina, I think.
Well, you know what? We had a case. Hold on.
All
We had
right,
a
let's
case
go with
like that in
Carolina.
Sacramento. We had a case like that in Sacramento. Not Trayvon Martin. Clark. I think Stephon Clark got shot like that.
So,
Yeah,
so
so
the,
it was. I thought it was around New York or something too.
Yeah,
Or
it's,
in
it's
that-
more than one place. It's more than one
it's
place.
happened more than once. It's happened multiple times. It's happened multiple times when people are shot in the back.
So when I go, okay. So when I say situation dictates about being shot in the back, because we don't, depending on what happened, right? If a person has fired off a few rounds and then turned around to run from the police, that's different than a
Right.
person who had already been running and fallen, right? In the initial scenario, the person has already proven to be a threat and has already threatened lives. And now they're simply trying to shoot their way out of the situation, as it were. Clearly, this wasn't the case. Clearly, this wasn't the case. This wasn't a story of mass gangsterism, as it were, or as it's going to end up trying to be sold and told. Again, making sure that we continue to inject the correct description of the deceased. And first off, let me apologize and take a few steps back. Condolences to the family for having to be re-victimized at this
3 years
trial.
later. 3 years later.
Yeah, 3 years later. Let me say that if this reaches their ears, I want to make sure that that's being said and they hear that.
And also with regard to the family, they're going to sue him, and he's done. The child family, financially, they're done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what's
They're
funny?
done. There's no question in my mind.
Hey,
Because the
you
civil
know-
jury ain't having
This.
this.
You know what's funny about that, Lynn? Because I knew you was going to bring this up, and I looked into it further. So when all this happened, right after all this happened, I can't remember before they made that civil suit, Mr. Child sold his store. Yeah. So I kind of figured.
Yeah, but you can claw back. You can
claw back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they got forensic accountants for that.
Okay.
And then when they slap the whatever it is, let's say you got zero, because what happened to OJ? 33 million got slapped on him, and that prohibited his ability to make legitimate money.
Jay
Right.
Glass, you know how you were saying, well, you guys knew what you mentioned about our corner stores and the people. Now, remember how let me know, you and Mr. President, if this has ever happened in your neighborhood. The stores are, then something happens, it gets shut down. It was called Sunset Market. Then a couple of months later, it's Sunrise Market.
Yeah.
Then the next time they get shut down, it's Sun Market.
Yeah.
And it's the same market.
And it's the same people.
Yeah.
But they'll switch it out, and it'll be like a cousin or a nephew or another son. They just kind of switch them out, and like with bad priests and teachers, they'll ship them to a different location.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The offenders.
And so again, I just want to. I don't want us to get lost in talking about cross-pollinating the stories of people who have been unjustly killed throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
This was a boy. Trayvon Martin, this was a boy.
Yes. Not
You
a
know what's
young man.
They
That was
could've-
a child.
You know what's
Jameer
funny?
Wright.
They could have
This was
found
a boy.
they could have found this man guilty, and Mr. Child could have appealed it to the appeals court. Maybe they would have upheld it, and then if he would have lost there, he could have gone to the to the South Carolina Supreme Court.
Mhm.
But there's no way that this decision of him being not guilty should have been made on day one.
No, day one.
Yeah, I mean, because
You
I'll
mean
take
the jury deliberated one day?
huh?
Is that what you're saying? The jury deliberated for one day?
That's
No, they delivered for 5 days. But I'm saying
The
they delivered for 5 days. But what I'm
Okay.
saying,
Okay.
what I'm saying is, this first round, this man to me had an intent. Because when you run after somebody, when you're safe and your child is safe, and you still run after them off your property, because that store doesn't have a 130-yard perimeter, you run after this person, but you make sure when you run after him, you carry your licensed firearm, so in case stuff gets hot, you can shoot him.
this was
So to me, this was an intent that maybe his full intent was not to murder him, but if it came down to it, I'm going to murder you.
He was
To
ready.
me, that's full intent. That to me, that now maybe I'm saying, well, Richard in street terms, that's
It's
still
it's premeditated, not necessarily murder. But
right.
why did you leave your premises? Why did you leave your company, your store? You were concerned with your products. Why would you leave? You and your son leave all of this.
Right.
So it's just open now. Anybody can come in there and steal to go chase somebody who did not have anything that belonged to you to chase you and your son.
In this particular case,
Him.
in this particular case, I can hear older black people saying our lives don't matter the same as other people's lives. In this particular case, I'm gonna have to agree with older black people on this particular case. And this is what happens when you were enslaved and brought here, because not just for the economic benefit, Mr. Byron Allen, but for the fact that they think they're racially superior to you, and you're not even human, you're not even full property. So when they talk about all these slavery systems across the earth, no slave went through the type of slavery that the enslaved African went through when they considered you property and they took your name, they took your religion. And that's the foundation of African Americans or black folks or Americans of African descent. That's our foundation in this country. So when older black people are complaining about their voting rights and stuff, I understand the frustration. But in this particular case, I stand with them that this black life of this 14-year-old, it would have been a totally different situation if it had been a black store owner chasing a young white man. He's already left the store.
Yeah. And listen to this. Look, okay, so you know how we said, like you were talking about our history, where we came from and our trauma and everything, and how we're always trying to remind ourselves that we are better than what fighting the depression that we have passed down from generation to generation. Still the thing, we not only think these bad things or fight these things about ourselves, we are also fighting those bad things that other people think about us, and those aggressions still come out at us. And when we react to it, then all hell breaks loose. Even if you run from it, in this case, all hell breaks loose, because whether he thought badly of himself or, just being a black person or not, but at the same time, Mr. Child evidently thought very little of him. Mr. Child's son, they thought very little of him, enough to leave what he was protecting. Both of he and his son, I don't know if somebody else was in there to watch the store, but they both leave to pursue this person.
Great point.
With a firearm.
Yeah, great point.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. So it all kind of, it's real messy and it's ugly together. It's a lot that we all have to work on. But at the same time, and even if it was his wife in there, you left her in there by herself. You think you got to have a gun and you leave your wife in there? You think somebody coming in there to steal?
But how many times with the Trayvon Martin, I said this back then, I said, don't ever run because you'll get shot. Now, we say this over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. If you are a young African-American, girl or boy, No, you know what? You can be a black man or a black woman.
Yeah,
if you run from a crime scene, you'll catch a bullet.
But it's
Richard,
hard not to run, Richard. You gotta run.
Richard, did you forget my human being rule? Humans are built to survive.
That's
running is a survival
and it's what we got.
instinct. You cannot remove, and you know the joke, Cedric the Entertainer says the best. When one black person starts running,
all of them.
We all run. Yeah. But you know what?
That's that survival instinct. Nobody's checking to see what we're running from.
You know what? Hey, but you know what, Mr. Medeiros? Even though by human nature you may be right, what I would tell if I had a child, I say, don't you never run.
And guess what?
Never run. I can guarantee you.
That's what they're going to do when it hits the fan.
You're going to get shot.
They're going to run.
Hold on a second.
Don't tell them
this comes down to when the police pull you over.
They say run home.
And sometimes when the police pull you over, they're wrong for pulling you over. But the time to argue ain't then. No.
We just
says, you keep your mouth shut, you take the ticket, and then you get up, then you run to Mr. Benjamin Trump or anybody else you can get grabbed and take their ass to court. But you live to get tried by 12 versus being carried by 6.
It's always to survive the experience.
Here 2 days ago, where a young Latino, what did he just came home from?
The cop was trying to pull him over. He was so close to home. What did he do?
And he was
he drove into his garage.
And he was freaked out about the cops' behavior.
He drove into his garage.
And they shot him and killed him.
Not they. The cop went into the garage
and
shot him in the driver's seat.
Killed him. And he was
in his garage in his house.
Where was he? He was very young. He was like 19.
Yeah. He was about to go. No, he was on college break.
Oh, college break.
Well, wait a minute. Not to get off subject, but I'll quickly say this because I don't know about that particular situation. When a cop pulls up to me and throws his lights on, I know as a black man who has a criminal record, I have to somehow navigate traffic and pull my black ass over as quickly as possible, safely, hopefully safely. But if I get killed trying to pull over, then I just get killed by another car trying to pull over. Because if I don't pull over as quickly as possible, drop those windows, throw my hands out wide, that cop can say, well, Mr. Brown tried to reach and grab a gun because he got mad because they ran him out the union. So he was going to shoot at me, so I had to blow his fucking brains out. Okay?
Well, when all of this stuff started,
that's just me.
All this stuff started happening, like with Sandra Bland, just all those different things started happening. We started reading where it was saying if a police officer was pulling you over and you were suspicious of them and their behavior, that it was okay to like maybe go to the next exit where you had light and witnesses instead of stopping at a dark place where you felt unsafe.
Nope. You have to pull, in my personal opinion, this is just me as a black man who has a criminal record, unjustly, but I have a criminal record. When those cops run those tags before they pull me over, they already know I have a felony on my record. So I know when they pull them lights on, my black ass has to get over, light or dark, rain or snow, get over as quickly as possible, turn that car off, put it in park, turn it off, drop those windows, and put my hands out. Because I can't even reach in my glove box for my proof of registration. Because I was reaching for a gun. Now that's how I was taught. And thank God my aunties drilled that shit into me. Because that has saved my life so many times before I even had a felony. So I know other black men, I don't talk about white men or Latino men. No. I'm talking about people who look like me. When they get pulled over, they do what they do. I am not going out like that. I will go to the courtroom and get told, well, Mr. Brown, you lost today, but I'm not getting shot. And then my mother or her sisters or y'all have to hear about me. There's a funeral for Mr. Brown because he didn't know how to control his temper. He didn't know how to act. Now, he acted a fool on the podcast, but when the cops pulled his black ass over, he knew how to act, or no, he didn't know how to act, and that's why he's gone.
Let me, before we push before we push over to the shaping of the midterms, let me say this. So my daughters and I have, shame on me for not registering, but we're doing a book reading deal with the library, and I showed y'all what I was doing when we were watching the game. We all was watching the game, and I was just reading, right? Chevalier de Saint George, right? And I'm reading his story, which is an amazing story, by the way. If you haven't, just to put things in perspective, this is the height of the French monarchy, and as a matter of fact, Chevalier, the famous Chevalier Saint George, was friends with Alexander Dumas' father. So as I'm reading his story, and I'm going through, and I'm noticing that he has been the pinnacle of French fencing. He is the pinnacle composer, violinist. He's an expert equestrian. He's an amazing dancer. He's literature. He's off the charts in everything that he's done. But he only has one problem, and he can't be accepted into the aristocracy, and that's because he's a mulatto. His mother was a slave. His mother, Nanon, was a slave, and his father, a French-born aristocrat. And it reminds me of this situation. The parallel is, unfortunately, in our society, regardless of where we are, what we're doing, the excellent positions that we might be able to make, there's never a full acceptance in our society. If this kid would have had a different conversation with the store owner, I just graduated 8th grade. And that store owner would have been able to see him as human, fully human, not just as a black kid that was possibly stealing 4 bottles of water. That kid would still be alive. And the issues that we have in our society today reflect those of the late 1800s, with the ability of people to recognize people as being humans. There's a block. There's a block.
You know what? When you say that, they were quick to say, James, that the firearm, he brandished a firearm. That's the child story. Witnesses said no. And then somebody else said that the firearm fell when he was running. But what they failed to tell you is, did he have any money in his pockets? Was there any money found on the young man?
Never mentioned.
Or a credit card or something.
No,
Okay.
not a credit card.
So, but hold on, that's a good point. Did he have any way of paying for the water? Because if the man had $5-10 in his pocket, he could have probably bought some of that water. But they can't tell you that part. But they can tell you that a gun dropped from his thing, or he brandished a gun. But what the witnesses said that he didn't do it. So the witnesses are saying he did not point the gun. The child and the son is saying that he pointed the gun at me, and somehow when the boy was running first, he's running first, but then he stops dead track like the Matrix, like Stephanie said, points the gun at Andrew Child, and then Andrew Child stops, but the father is still running at 61 years of age. I guess he has some good joints. I guess he's running good, so he can see all this. And then the boy turns around and starts running again. So did the boy put the gun back into his waistband and start running? Because if that's the case, how did it fall out? Was he running with the gun in his hand? See, this is a Johnny Cochran situation. If Johnny Cochran was still alive, this would be a different storyline. I can tell you.
And Jay Glass, like you were saying,
but Johnny wouldn't have been in that courtroom.
It's the human element.
Don't forget, the prosecutor was fighting for that boy.
Even if it's
Bear.
when you see a kid, even if it's of a different race, and you think, man, I try to do that. I really do try to do that. Even if it's somebody being crazy and disrespectful. Like we just came from one of our baby's graduations today. Straight A student, Gabby. She's only 11. And whenever I see a kid, I think of them that they have somebody. Just like I love this kid, they have somebody that loves them. That's somebody's brother, that's somebody's auntie, that's somebody's mother. I try to humanize people, even when they piss me off. I still say, and then look, I'll even go further. That's God's child. So I need to chill. Okay? I try to do that. And I think that that is absent in a lot of people. Because what was that movie? A Time to Kill?
Yeah.
When Matthew McConaughey said, now close your eyes, now open your eyes, and he goes, close your eyes, now imagine she was white. Boom!
But you know what, Jay? I will say this. What's missing, and as Black families, leaders of families, we need to do a better job about equipping our children with respect for adults and respect for authority. Because here's where people lose it when the cop comes to your car that has pulled you over. And I've never had this situation happen. You know why? Yes, sir. No, sir.
Because we know how to act.
Well, no, but what we're not doing as a collective, because I read the craziest story today, right? Teenage girl works at McDonald's. White manager at McDonald's tells teenage girl to take out the trash. Teenage girl tells white adult manager she ain't taking out the trash. So white adult manager tells her, clock out and go home. Teenager calls her 35-year-old mama. I ain't going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you the teenager's race. Y'all can figure that out for yourself. Her mama comes up there and goes behind the counter and assaults the white manager adult in her office. White manager adult pulls out the shotty, shoots her in the leg. Right, she didn't kill her. Cops come, they both get arrested.
Yeah.
Because when the mom came up there, she brought another juvenile with her. So she got accused of assault, and then she got this mob-like charge too. Some kind of mob crime or whatever. But my point is, if teenage McDonald's worker have respect for adult and authority, this is an adult who's paying you, telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Take out the trash.
I agree.
And so when if the 14-year-old is popping off to the old Asian man, I can see, because as a man, the number one thing you cannot do to me, 6'3", 220, is disrespect me. I'm not having that ever, because I'm not disrespectful. I don't initiate disrespect ever to anyone. So when the cop comes up to me, I'm not shaking like a leaf saying, I got to survive this traffic stop. That's not me, because I'm going to say whatever. And I've been pulled over riding dirty. We got pulled over in Arkansas because what did I do? This is one of the crazy Arkansas rules. I went across the broken line to pass a semi after 7 o'clock at night.
What?
This is what the Arizona State Trooper told me. I did not have my license.
Arizona or Arkansas?
Arkansas. I'm sorry, Arkansas. I did not have my license. He let me go to the back of the trunk and give him my passport. He took my passport back, ran me, and gave me a ticket for $350 because he knew we were from Texas and we wasn't coming back to go to court to fight this ticket. And guess what? I just paid the ticket. But what I'm saying is, if and this sounds like something he pulled out of his ass.
Crack.
You can't cross the double yellow line to pass not anyone, but a truck after 7 p.m. in the state of Arkansas. When Steph got pulled over when we went, he said in Arkansas you can't pass on the right. You have to pass on the left, and he pulled us over.
Right.
We didn't give him no lip, and he didn't even take. We were so cordial. He didn't even take Stephanie's stuff back to the.
Yeah, he didn't even ask me for my life.
No, you gave it to him.
Okay.
He looked at it because he came. He didn't come on. She was driving.
Which was
He came and scared the crap out of me. He came up on my side.
Oh, he came on Lynn's side.
He came on my side.
My window down.
Right. She ready. My window's up.
And it was like dark. 30.
And he like tap tap tap. Window comes down. Look, he right out of State Trooper Central Casting.
Shotgun.
And he told Stephanie the rule. Now, had Stephanie popped off,
Stephanie don't pop off.
right? But had Stephanie popped off to the statey, and that's a different level.
That's right. That's right.
A different level.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got the hat. I'm glad they got that distinguishable whatever. Because when the statey pulls you over, you know what's up. I love the Smokey the Bear hat that they got. Because I'm like, okay.
State Trooper, this is Missouri. State Trooper and County Brown do not have to go.
So we ended up with nothing. And look, Stephanie had to go to the bathroom. So we see Gum Springs on the sign. And he said, I wouldn't recommend that you exit at Gum Springs.
About it. He was like, no, it ain't no bathroom.
He said, I wouldn't recommend that you, and guess what? She exited.
I had to go.
She exited.
So bad.
And we paid the price.
And we drove through a level of hell.
Right. No lights.
It was like,
nowhere.
It's like hell was over here. But this was like the
So,
hell.
you
It
know,
was pitch black, and it was only your headlights. And I felt like an alien ship was about to. We were scared to switch. I was scared to switch seats with him.
But you know what? There's something a lot of black men don't know about police, and you've experienced this, Stephanie and Lynn. City police is city police.
Mm-hmm.
Them state boys, they're usually going to be on the up and up. Usually. And they're on the island by themselves. So if they come and blast your brains out, there's no witnesses. So they usually can size up regardless of who you are.
Right.
They can tell. I think they can tell what our temperament. Now,
they make that assessment based on what? Your level of respect.
Oh, yeah.
So if you come respectfully, you're not going to have. But if you pop
I agree. But
now you're looking for trouble.
Now preach about the County Brown if you have ever had any experiences.
Well, first of all, I didn't mess with St. Louis County. Okay, so I didn't go out. All right, so
say this, and then we gotta push on. We gotta push forward.
One thing I'll say is when they pull you over and they can see that you have a felony or a misdemeanor, your level of professionalism has to be a lot higher than Stephanie and Lynn's.
I'm sure.
So, a lot higher. And then when I had my tinted windows on my cars years ago, I already knew. Because I could have been gone like that. I mean, like that.
You need to ask me about my tint I had on my, I think it was my Jetta or I can't remember if it was my Jetta or Passat. I didn't know if there was anything wrong with it, but it's just so hot here in Texas. One of my colleagues, he was a vice president. When I got my car, he was like, girl, black man, what you doing with them black windows on there? I was like, it's hot. But I never got pulled over. But they are like black. You cannot see anything. It's like Michael Jackson is in the limo or something.
I love it. That's how I roll. 10 them out, baby. 10 them out.
I'm about to say, you got to jump in there, Oscar. You're going to have to jump in there, man.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it back a little bit to the case that we were talking about. I did a little bit reviewing about everything. And it's one of those things where I hate to agree with it because of the fact that it is legally sound, but morally bunk. And the reason I say it's legally sound is because it seems like the defense went for the biggest charge.
Yeah.
And they basically said, we know that the biggest charge has the biggest weight. However, it is harder to prove.
Right now, you mean the prosecution?
They did it with malice.
You mean the prosecution?
So,
The prosecution.
Yeah,
prosecution, yeah. So if they would have added the manslaughter, the case would be different. The manslaughter would have gone through.
Yep.
The manslaughter would have gone 100% through. But
That's
the
what,
defense was
Wiggins
basically
said.
like, so the defense is basically like, hey, let's just all or nothing. Let's go for the murder, blah, blah,
But
blah.
Oscar,
And they always do this because Kyle Rittenhouse case did the same exact thing,
okay.
right?
Mhm.
So it always happens that, you know, and in a lot of these cases, when you're looking at it, you go like, God, that sucks. But unfortunately, it's morally sound. I mean, not morally sound. It's legally sound. Like the application of the law and how they apply it is correct.
But Oscar, no, wait, hold on, Oscar. If you hadn't said this, I forgot all about this. So Oscar, if you're saying
Y'all ain't gonna let us move past this, huh?
No, this is the last thing I'm gonna say.
It's okay. It's okay. We don't have to. We can stay here. I'm good.
Fire
With
it
it.
up.
Oscar, if you're saying legally, it was hard to prove the malice of intent. So you're telling me, Oscar, that my black ass Richard Lewis Brown had been Kyle Rittenhour, and I would have grabbed my M16 and ran up there and been regulating, my black ass wouldn't have been prosecuted for them same charges? I'm going to say you a lie.
And I will say that's where I will say that's where it's morally bunked, because that is where the narrative is tailored around the law that's trying to be proven, right?
So in other words, we enforce
and this there are narratives that the lawyers create. So
Emerald, what she said.
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, what's happening here is they went on. The son yelled, "He has a gun," or whatever the case was. The father then reacted as a father, not out of malice, but out of defense, and said, "My son is in danger, so I will shoot him."
So Oscar,
so that was the whole defense factor there.
Oscar,
This never would have happened had they not done the store.
If you look at the death row, if you look at death row statistics of how many black men have been exonerated off of death row because of the law that was misapplied.
Yeah.
So the same thing. When I got ran out of the union, I didn't do anything wrong by the bylaws and the policy file. Court didn't care about that. I didn't have a lawyer to really fight for me. So the law is applied when it protects white America. But when it doesn't protect white America, then they go to something else. Now, a lot of older black people feel very strongly about that statement that I've made. In this particular case, I think that older black people, and maybe young black people too, in this particular case, this applies. I'm done. I shut my mouth.
I'm gonna say this also. the internet has done. The internet has made people stupid, and I hate to say it that way. I hate to say it that way, and I'm channeling my inner Brooks, but the internet has made people stupid.
Brooks is on there.
They stupid but the reason why I say that is because very frequently you see the videos of people interacting with law enforcement, provoking law enforcement at times, or being rambunctious as I'll call it, flailing around and flat out disrespectful with law enforcement. And it's begun to become normalized on the internet, and people have the wherewithal to think that they should try that.
Or they can get
because they're going to experience the same outcome, and it doesn't always happen.
Yeah. No.
Right. And unfortunately, the internet is making people constantly stupid. In this case, what you said, Oscar, I'd have to agree with you that the letter of the law wins the day, and the spirit has been washed away. Right? It's not applied. It hasn't been.
Correct.
It's just unfortunately
correct.
And
because
again,
because the unfortunate part is simply because it meets the elements of a certain accusation against somebody. or a charge against somebody doesn't mean it's the spirit of law is correct. It just means it's applied correctly and defended correctly.
It's the allegation of him pointing that gun. That's where the whole problem is. And if you accept that allegation that Cyrus, the 14-year-old, pointed that gun, now you accept the fact that he got his head blown off.
And that's not elite. That's not elite because Cyrus has a gun.
We don't know that for sure because
Richard.
There was a gun.
I believe the young man had a gun. But here's what I also believe.
Why did the multiple witnesses say he didn't have a gun? You don't trust them?
No, they said they didn't see it.
They didn't see it. Okay.
They didn't see him. They said they didn't see him brandish it.
Okay.
But here's what I know.
Yeah.
The defense attorney, and this is all it comes down to. We have all these theatrics. The defense attorney was a better attorney than the prosecuting attorney. That's why the defense attorney is in his lane, private practice, charging an arm and a leg, and the prosecutor is on a grid, or the government grid. That's his payout.
He's state appointed.
He's the prosecutor is not on a retainer, and that's what it is. Because
or court appointed attorney. Yeah.
Well, no. This is once again it's the prosecutor.
Oh,
that's different. This is not
and time and time again. What I've seen it is always it always tends to be either happy-go-lucky DAs that are like, I can make my fame out of this case, so I'm going to hit them with the hardest thing we can, and then screw the smaller things. Like we're going to get them for murder, and then that's where
a minute,
you lose the
hold
case.
on.
The defense
Oscar?
is better.
Okay,
it's a cover.
Okay, Oscar.
Or you do that because you don't
now,
want
Oscar. Yeah. When you say that, you know how I am. So when you say that, and I hear Lynn talking, okay, just remember these words you're saying. How the prosecuting attorney thought they could make a name for themselves, and they went for the gusto. Just remember that statement you made. Just remember that statement. Just remember that.
But we already agree. Don't we already agree that the prosecuting attorney didn't Wig point out the fact that the prosecuting attorney did not bring his A game?
Yeah.
He said he should have brought more than just that one charge of. He should
have brought more. That's what I'm saying. He's not the DA. The DA brings the charge, and then the DA sends the prosecuting attorney out to battle. Because all this is trial by, what did they call it in Game of Thrones?
Not fire.
Combat. Trial by combat.
Yeah.
The better attorney, prosecuting or defense. Okay. Because it was a public defender.
Okay.
Then Chow was in trouble.
Okay.
But Chow didn't come there with a public defender.
Right.
Came there with
a paid lawyer.
Type dude.
You know what?
Paint a picture for a jury that the kid had a gun. The kid did wheel around. The kid did wheel around and do something. Because remember that case I told you that ticked off Colin Kaepernick, where the black cop was chasing the armed suspect. That guy had a gun. And then that guy took and went airborne. And once he went airborne, the cop could easily make the argument that guy could have twisted in the air and shot him. So as soon as that guy went air, but what actually happened was when he went airborne, he threw the gun. But it didn't matter. Once he was airborne, the cop had every right to believe that this dude was going to matrix him and kill him. And he shot him and killed the guy.
And that's I was going to say the tough part with a lot of the legal conversations on jurisdictions is that you have different levels, like of murder. Some places have first degree murder, second degree murder, manslaughter, and every single one of them have elements that have to be met in order for that to be fully charged and charged against the person. However, in South Carolina, that's not the case. They just have murder and manslaughter. Right,
Oscar.
You have to prove
certain
things for manslaughter, which unfortunately they won.
But Oscar, you and I both know if the role had been reversed, if that had been a black store owner shooting a white man, a white kid, a white 14-year-old, Donald Trump would have came down there and sat in that trial. Damn. So I can't see. It's funny. I have to shut down. I have to stop. Go ahead. I have to stop.
Listen, Richard, you need to stop interrupting people and then digressing. Make your point.
No, because I'm
You
telling you a fact. Because when you talk about these,
Well,
the prosecutor wasn't as good as the defense. Okay, so since we're going about whoever wins is the better lawyer.
No.
That's not it.
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that the better lawyer is going to win.
We'll find this out. Well, because they tell me the best lawyers when they're going from the judges, and then the judge has to make the decision. Well, in this case, it was a jury, because sometimes when the best lawyers go to the United States Supreme Court, sometimes y'all agree with it, and sometimes y'all don't. Because y'all told me y'all don't agree with the voting rights gutting of Section 2.
Yeah, but see, when you're in front of the panel in the Supreme Court, you're not going against another dude.
Lawyer.
They did. Yes, they did. There was the pro.
They did.
Yeah.
They have pros and cons. They have pros and cons. But these aren't the same types of cases that are being judged, right? These are two totally different concepts.
This is gonna come up again.
Yeah.
It's gonna come up.
Yeah.
Again.
So and you know, Richard, I feel you on the if.
Okay, I thought it was me
anytime.
too. Yes. You froze up for a second. You said Richard. You lost you after you said Richard. I agree with you on the, and then you froze up.
Purposely.
They froze up.
Yes, you froze up again.
When you said if it hadn't been the races reversed or what have you. I agree. But whataboutisms never sway anybody.
Correct.
They just don't. It is, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this personally towards you, but in my opinion, once you're what about, you've lost.
You lost.
It's the weakest argument,
Richard,
in my opinion.
You're not wrong.
I do think, Richard's not wrong. I do
Stephanie.
I do think this case, if it moves over to a civil lawsuit, I do think
that
the family of the child is going to win. There's no doubt about it. The level of having to prove wrongdoing is a lot lower than it was to in the criminal case. So will they see another day and win in civil court? More likely than
not. Boy, you're still dead.
Oscar, they won't. The family won't see a dime. If there were anything, they better sue the county. Sue Richland County, and now they'll get paid. But if you won't sue Mr. Child,
what are they going to sue the county for?
Because Mr. Child ain't gonna pay you anything. I guarantee.
What are they going to sue the county for?
Because you're not gonna get no money suing Mr. Child.
Richard, you are not answering.
You have to
put some money down on
existing being the county where the Shell station was.
Hey,
what?
If it was a county sheriff.
According to the Trump administration, if the government, and I know it's the federal government, but I'm just going to make a broad sweeping phrase. But if your government, what did he say? If your government hurts you in any way, you can sue them. Hence,
but
the
government was the prosecution. The government was representing the family.
That's true. So I guess they on the wrong side.
No weaponization fund either. No, all they can do is go and sue the family and slap a judgment on Mr. Child.
And when I simply said is,
it don't matter. It don't matter.
Mr. Child is not going to pay a dime.
That's not how it works. Did Ron Goldman get money from OJ? Yes or no?
That's what I was aware of.
Yes, he did. Look that up. Huh? He didn't get $33 million.
He didn't touch his pension.
See, here you go deflecting again. I said money, fiat currency.
I'm asking,
did he get money from OJ? The answer is yes.
Where?
I'm about to look
Where
it
did
up.
money come from?
Look, Jay Glass is about to show you that you are wrong. Not you are not wrong, but you are wrong. I'm telling you.
What I'm saying is, Mr. Child won't pay a dime to that family of Cyrus.
You don't know that.
Okay, I'm going to bet.
Because selling your business.
Put some money where your mouth is.
The money's up. You name the price.
$1.
$100.
No, we gonna
What do you get? What do you get, Jay?
cashews. That's
I'm
what
going
you
to share it because I don't want nobody to say that I'm.
What do you get, Jay?
I looked it up on ChatGPT for us real quick.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Yeah. Yep. But what I found is yes.
Google.
Say what?
I just put. Did Ron Goldman get any money from O.J. Simpson? Yes, but only a small fraction of what was awarded.
That was not what I said, though. What was my statement?
No. You
He
said
got money.
he got money. So
He got
you were
money.
correct. He got money.
It wasn't 33 million that was
But he got
judged.
How much?
$132,850.
Google
Okay.
how much? Leave ChatGPT alone so they.
No, how much?
$132,850. Okay.
There you go. Like I said,
Yeah.
and guess what? The family will take a 6-figure check.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
So
you have to remember,
that's
again,
your play.
it does
You
it does go.
I
And you
promise
prevent him from ever making money.
Hey, you made your point.
It
so
does-
I
it does
promise
go-
you, I'm going to follow this civil thing because I want to see if he pays out any money at all. If he has any money to pay out. Hell, we don't even know if Mr.
here's
Child's
the
still in America or not.
Oscar, what are you
Here's the
saying?
important thing: if the lawyer is worth a damn, right? That they get, it's not just going to be the Chow family. They're probably going to go after the property owner if it's not the Chow family. They're going to go after Shell because Shell has license.
And that's what I was going to next, Richard.
Yeah.
Shell, not Richmond County. Shell.
Gotcha. Okay. We
So
agree on that.
Lawyers are going to go to the people with the deepest pockets that involve the wrongful
Okay.
death.
So when you say Shell, I was kind of saying the county. I was trying to say you have to go after
Yeah.
somebody who really has the money because Mr. Child, he's
Yeah.
emptied all his money out. He ain't got nothing. If he's even in America still. So I agree with you on that, man. I
So
agree.
that wasn't even Mr. Child's store. Okay, well, yeah, he a franchise.
You don't know the ownership situation yet.
Yes, I did.
That'll
I looked
come
it up.
out in the civil proceeding.
So
He owned it up.
in Discovery, they'll figure out who has,
He
the
owned the
deepest pockets, and
store,
they'll go.
and I can't remember if before the civil lawsuit he sold it to somebody else. He owned it to his LLC.
Then it would be that person also involved
Yeah.
in the civil suit.
It just
Because,
continue.
you know, like,
Because he
you
sold the
are
store
here.
after the incident.
But before the not guilty verdict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm trying to think, did he sell the store
It's-
before they filed that civil? I can't remember if that was the case.
I don't think they've gone civil yet, have they?
Yeah. They filed civil.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
So
sure.
then what was the
so
outcome?
That'll be an interesting one.
it hasn't been litigated yet, from what I saw, because the lawyer said that they were there's going to be other multiple filings for the family going after.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. They haven't done it yet.
No, they filed the
No,
civil.
gen-
It's been filed already.
Generally,
Oh,
they'll wait for
I'm
the.
sure.
Generally, they'll wait for the.
Yeah, you wait for this. You got to wait for the
criminal-
verdict.
You have to wait for this to
you
finish.
wait for the criminal.
Stay out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You're correct. You're correct.
Right.
You're correct.
You're
I'm
correct.
sorry. You're correct.
Oh my
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, because you have to remember,
Don't you know,
you have to remember
don't
a
you
lot
know,
of.
then
a lot
it comes
of
on the show to
discovery-
fight me. Don't you know
What?
that?
Hit my cash
you
app.
know,
Hit my cash app.
Speaking of cash. Hey, I wasn't gonna let that slide by either. I was gonna shout out to the Cardinals. I was gonna
Richard,
shout them out.
President, check out my influence. My auntie bought him that.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
good.
Speaking of money, let's talk about let's slide it over a little bit at this point. We had other things to talk about, but that's an important topic because it does expand and there are multiple different parallels that we have to remember. So if I had to explain something like this to other colleagues of mine, white colleagues or somebody else, I would say when things like this happen in the Black community, frequently it throws us back into a bit of a position. It shocks our system back into a position of defense, unfortunately, because we're all rocked back because we're waiting for justice to happen, and when we don't think justice has happened or has been parceled out the way it should have, fairly, right, unbiased, we retreat a little bit because we have to figure out how to reassemble, how to synthesize this. We got to figure out how to synthesize this.
Mhm.
So, we have to take a little time on topics like this so that we can actually push through and get to another position.
And the worst thing
But
that can be said, is don't why you got to bring race into it. Woo! That's like fire in the theater. Don't say that.
yeah,
No.
well, again, I'll keep pointing to the Supreme Court, but and then I'll start
I
pointing
always tell
to
people.
what they allowed Alabama to do.
I always tell people,
So
it's like, do you have to fear about being wrongfully thought that
Hey,
you're trying to
oh,
steal
you know
something
what? Wait a
by
minute.
trying to get a bottle of water or trying to get
Hey,
a soda?
hey, hold on a second. Hey, hold on.
It's like-
Hey,
I agree, Oscar.
listen to this. Cyrus Carmack Belton's family first filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Child and other defendants in August of 2024, according to public court records. The initial complaint, the Child's racially profiled Carmack Belton, falsely accusing him of stealing bottles of water. So they did file a wrongful death lawsuit. So
it's still this.
What
It
happened?
it's still going on. It's not
would
finished.
still have to wait if this
Yeah.
ended up, because this would have taken precedence over the other filings.
So nearly a year
I'm-
later, a judge ordered a stay on the lawsuit, meaning it was paused pending the outcome of Child's criminal case.
Yeah.
So they did file the lawsuit.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So no big.
Yeah.
All right. No big. Okay.
But like Oscar
So-
said, he asked people, do you have to worry about you reiterate what you just said, Oscar? Because
About when people say when people toss in the race thing.
yeah. Why
Yeah,
you gotta
so,
bring race into it?
I always tell people, you know why race matters? Because do you have to worry as a white man when you go into a convenience store, if you grab a bottle, if you're, that the clerk is trying to look at you up and down going like, is this person going to steal something? More often than not. So these people just, if you don't live with that trauma, if you don't live with that constant fear, then it's out of sight, out of mind. You never realize it because you've got that privilege. So you can go up to the vending machine, you can go up to the thing and take it and walk around the store and nobody ever fucking suspects
You
it.
can beat up the
I was-
vending machine.
Look, you can drink. You can drink it
Yeah, you
So-
can drink it. They'll just be like, all right, he's going to pay for it.
and pay for a half a soda at the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was like-
my youngest daughter,
But that's what I
and
do
my
too.
son. It just happened today. We were going to the commissary, and she keeps wanting to bring things into the store with us. And for the last couple of days, I've had to reiterate, hey, don't bring that out of the car into the store. She's playing with stuff, walking through the aisles in her hand, and she caught me off guard today. And she had something in her hand, taking a picture. And I said, I keep telling you, don't bring stuff from the car to the damn store. Put it back. Put it back. Because you don't understand what could happen to you just because you took something that's yours, from your vehicle into the store. And now I got to beat the hell out of a store manager because he's going to try and check you.
And get arrested. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
So I
I
keep
had
trying
that
to.
thought the other day when I was in Sam's, because I always carry me a bottle of water. We get our water from Sam's, but I always have one in my purse. And I was walking in there and I forgot to drop it in my purse. I had it in my hand because if somebody stops you, I'm just thinking, I don't have a receipt for this, but this is, to me, it's clearly my water. But I've been taught that all my life. Don't walk in there with stuff. Like you said, I have been taught that. I actually stopped and thought, dang, why am I feeling so nervous? And it was like, oh, because of my water.
Yeah.
My water.
My son has had a toy from the car, and we'd get to the front of the entrance of the store, and I'd look in his hands, and I'd be like, man, if you don't, we got to go. Everybody, we going back to the vehicle.
Yep.
You guys can't take this stuff in stores. You
Because
can't
they
take
was
this stuff in
stole
stores.
it.
It's like you can't get used to this. You can't. This is not what we can do, unfortunately.
It's a survival
can't.
skill.
And
we
they
have
looking
it.
at me like I'm
this-
crazy.
This is going to sound funny because I live in predominantly like white neighborhood, and I even have to think, being Latino, I have to think, oh, I need to grab something out of my car. Say it's midnight or 1 a.m. and I'm in my PJs and my hoodie, and I'm like, ooh, I probably shouldn't cross the street and open the
Right.
car and make noise, because there's a possibility somebody's going to wrongfully think that I'm like this, young Mexican guy or Latino guy busting into people's cars, which did happen once. One of the neighbors
Dang.
reported to the police. There's somebody breaking into the vehicles, right? I went in the house, but I did see that they were like, "Did you see the people breaking in the cars?" Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "That may have been me, but I wasn't breaking in the cars. I just went to my car to grab something."
Yeah.
You know, so it's just
Br-
that's
And then-
why it matters
Oh,
because
no, not you. No, it was me. See, yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God,
it was
you
me.
got a gun. I'm kidding.
Around
Anyway.
what time it was? Yeah, it was me around that time.
Right. That'd be a funny
So-
sketch. That'd be a
Yeah.
funny sketch. Anyway, that'd be a great comedy sketch.
True Dave Chappelle.
I know. You're hanging out with your friends, everybody happy, go lucky. You put your hoodie on, and everybody get nervous. Call the cops. Who is this? You take it. Oh my God. Anyway, that'd be a great comedy sketch, I think. But
Yeah.
because racism is funny to me. So
Probably seen it.
speaking of races,
beyond that, one last thing, and beyond that, like for me, like, you know, I've been in the United States. I grew up here. I was born in another country. I've mentioned that before. But even now with ICE increases and stuff like that, even though I speak differently, as soon as they speak to me, it's like a whole different ball game. But just off the get go, I'm like, does that mean like I have to walk around going like I may have like, you know, if they pull me over or do something like that, they may question me. They may be like, hey, like, so
Oscar,
where's your
are you
passport?
tall?
Where you
How
from?
tall are you, Oscar?
What was that?
How tall are you?
5'7".
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of races, we will begin to shift and turn to I like how I did that.
I know it. I love
Midterm
smooth.
shape-ups, California, Iowa, and a few other places. What is going on in California? Let me ask that first off.
All right, Richard, give us a lowdown.
Yeah, because like
Are you asking me?
both of y'all and Brooks as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Because California is ridiculous.
I will give you a fun assessment. And this is
All right.
my conspiratorial brain coming on.
Oh, don't go there.
So we know that Silicon Valley plays a big major role, as Silicon Valley CEOs play a big major role in funding a lot of the politics that's happening around not only California but the nation. My conspiracy theory is that Peter Thiel gave money to Matt Mahan, the mayor of the city of San Jose, to run, maybe even inspired him, run.
Oh my
right?
goodness.
In order, because you
Good
know,
to know.
and I've seen this play out in Latin America with votes. What happens is you put your money behind a candidate you know will not take more than 5 to 10% of the vote. However, when you have somebody from North California as a Democrat and South California as a Democrat, what you're doing is you're splitting that vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the percentages right now, they're very minor percentages. Matt Mahan took about 5, 6, 7%. I forget exactly what it is right now.
Right.
But that is enough to offset
Yeah.
the overall totals at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a game where every vote matters. And I was thinking it was really funny. I don't know how much it plays. I got to look further into this, so I will admit that I have not looked deeply into this. But I think it's really a slap to the face to Democrats in California after they had voted to redistrict California to benefit them. Yet it looks like we don't know how it's going to pan out at the end, but it looks like it didn't really favor them, if that's at play already.
Oscar, you're
Yeah,
correct.
it didn't favor them as much
The
as they
Republicans
thought it was going
retaliated
to.
by doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and they ended up
What?
going to get more beneficial seats or redistricting
Go ahead.
seats out of it.
So, my quick point on that, Oscar is probably not wrong. It looks like Mahan has 4.1%, but
Good.
I think the redistrict. We'll see if Kevin Kiley going independent, if he can still win that district, his redistrict, by him going independent on Kevin Kiley. Now, as far as the governorship is concerned,
Yeah.
Steve Hilton is in
yeah.
the lead. Well, hold on a second. Let's back up for a
No,
second.
it's so before we got on, I looked at it, and Xavier, well, for the Republican
So he's
candidates, yeah.
So
I'm
he's
sorry,
in the
go
lead at 1.4 million. Xavier Becerra 1.3. And then here's where I want to hear Oscar's opinion. First of all, let me acknowledge that I hate the Democratic Party because they ran me out of office. Okay. But as far as political...
And I dislike the Democratic Party of California just because we are where we are because of them.
Okay.
Can't blame anybody else.
But I know when people say, well, don't get mad at the Democratic Party. No, because they didn't run me out because I was treating people with love and respect, everybody equally in my union. And they did run me out, period, under the leadership of Gavin Newsom. I stand behind that. But I didn't run to the Republican Party either. So I'm a no party preference. With that being said, it appears to me the Democratic Party cannot stand Tom Steyer. And they're doing everything they can to ensure he's not in the top 2. Now, that's on that point on the governor. So it looks like, well, we have a problem in California. You cannot have all these billionaires and millionaires in California and have Silicon Valley in California and not count these votes faster. There's no excuse for that. Whether it's Peter Thiel, Zuckerberg, or whoever, between Silicon Valley, NorCal, we're supposed to be God's gift to America, California. Let Californians tell you this, who were born here. If you can't count these votes faster,
this is craziness.
I'm gonna stop there because then you'll be saying, "Well, it sounds like you're supporting Trump and what he's saying." No, but on this matter, on this matter, you cannot have Silicon Valley and not count these votes faster. And you've had years on years. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask when are they projected to be finished counting them?
A couple weeks. Because if I'm checking, let me check this website. So this is NBC News, in case y'all are asking. So they're running a live poll, a live voting poll, and right now it says, oh gosh, only 50. Oh, let me check this right. 50% of the votes.
It's a little bit over 50%. Yeah.
Now that's crazy.
Well, look, they're taking their time and they're making sure it's accurate.
Okay. So the Democratic Party says that they're taking the time. They want to be thorough. They want to count every vote. Okay, I understand that from the Democratic Party. I do. And that's a very reasonable, very logical, very prudent. I need to put some more words in. A very prudent answer. Okay. Because I cannot argue against that logic. That's why I understand the logic. But again, when you have, quote, the number 1 state in the nation with the 4th largest economy on earth, okay?
I thought it was 5th.
Okay, you want to go 4, you want to go 5? Okay, we'll go 5. Okay, that's fine. So you have this huge economy, but the fact that you have Silicon Valley, we think that Californians think that they're so much better than everyone else across the earth, including America. And you can't count your votes faster than this, even though
but see, if you let technology enter the chat, then you open up the door for
corruption,
hackability, and all that stuff. So you can't, even though you have that in your arsenal, you can't pull that out because the conspiracy theorists will say,
right. So again,
it was rigged.
But I was going to say, I do give California some grace because of the fact that we have mixed voting, right? We have people that go to the actual ballots and vote, and we also have mail-in. So it takes different amount of time if you go into a machine in person versus, mail it in. It takes a different amount of time to process those.
And do you also have early voting?
Process.
Yes, we have early voting.
Yes.
Okay. So my thing is,
a great number of states have that. I can vote from Ohio in Ohio, and I live in California.
So I was going to say, because of that, I think it does split time differently, but also the fact that we have our population numbers are greater than the majority of states combined in the Bible Belt. So the amount of work that it takes to really accurately count all those votes compared to Wisconsin or compared to Idaho or something like that, it does take more time than them, simply by sheer numbers.
But here's the problem with that, though. If you say, well, because our population is so big in California, you have to give us more time. I can see giving us at least a week or 2 more weeks. but not no 3 or 4 weeks, not a month later. That's ridiculous. I don't care. That goes against the logic of trying to count every vote correctly, because now you're taking too long. Because when the Trump administration changed it to where just because you mail your ballot in the post office, until that post office actually processes that ballot, that's where the postmark is. So people wait to the last minute to mail their ballot in on the day that is so June 2nd, and they mail it on June 2nd, but the post office doesn't process it until June 3rd or June 5th because they're so overwhelmed with these mail-in ballots. Now you have a problem.
Well, that's being held up.
Huh?
That's being held up. That EO from Trump.
Wait till we.
Okay, so now we'll be back in court. So now Trump will argue that it's taking too long, that you're trying to count more than ballots than you should be allowed to count. Common sense says you shouldn't have to wait no 3 or 4 weeks to get the result. When you're in the number one state in the nation.
Did this happen during the presidential?
In 2024, it took a couple weeks. Yeah, it took a couple weeks.
I don't remember that. But I guess call races when they're like,
if you're really lopsided, then you don't have
that's
to.
What I remember.
Yeah, but when it's close, because with this Steve Hilton and Becerra, and here's the problem: if I'm Tom Steyer, I want you to keep counting because I feel like maybe I got a chance to get more of these ballots in.
And you know who Steve Hilton's part of? The Hilton family.
I did not know he's part of the Hilton family. I did not know that. Okay. So now, allegedly, there were a lot of these hardcore Republicans in the state. They hate Steve Hilton. They love Sheriff Bianco, but Steve Hilton got the blessing of Trump. So all this is on the Republican side. Where on the Democratic side, you have the young upstart Democrats trying to replace a lot of these old head Democrats. For example, in my District 7, Congress District 7, Congresswoman Doris Matsui doesn't want to leave office. She's been there for ages. But the young person, my Bang, wants to replace her. So now they're going to be, most likely, they're going to be into a runoff, District 7. If you keep going.
This is a higher. I'm just looking. Yeah, I'm just looking through states.
So you have all these people coming of the young Democrats trying to replace the old head Democrats, but the old head Democrats got so much power, they're so entrenched, starting with Nancy Pelosi. The same thing for the Republican Party. A lot of those old Republicans are so entrenched, and when they thought they were going to lose their power to Trump, then they say, okay, we'll just go along with whatever Trump says so we can keep our power until he's out of our way. So this, this whole primary process to me is a joke. It should be just one election.
I just looked up the timeframes, and according to what I was reading, it says California Assembly Bill number 5, basically stipulated the election timeframes or the ballot counts to 16 days for the bulk of numbers have to be within 16 days of the bulk of the processing, and then the 30 days to audit. So it's a 30-day audit period.
What's the bulk
allowed?
What is the bulk? 16 days. The bulk. What is that? 50%? 40%? What is that?
He's probably looking it up.
Okay, because when I see words like bulk, that means call my attorney. That's what that means to me.
So California right now, the way several outlets are talking about California, you would think that California is about to turn red. That's
red counties existed in the 2024 election. More counties went red in the 2024 election.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's going to be a continuing trend through the midterms. That California has that it's a possibility.
Right. There's only one reason, in my opinion, why more counties went red, and it's not really the economy, it's not really the gas, it's the homelessness. That issue.
Well, the fight down, although Bass is winning it, but the LA mayoral race, right? That was one of the big things that was on the chopping block. Also, the increase in homelessness, and the general feel that the constituents of LA are feeling like they're losing. They've lost control of the city, and there's nothing that's actually getting better. And one of the big things was, and this was a great propaganda tool from the Trump administration. He did it his first term, and he came back and he began to redo it again. Is talking about wildfire. Yep, the fires in California.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Poor management. Poor wildfire management.
Right.
Wait a minute. If I tell you I'm mad at the Democratic Party because I got run out of my position, that's one thing. But factually, when it comes to those wildfires, Gavin Newsom has been a nuisance. He hasn't been exposed yet. Actually, the Republican Party is actually telling the truth on the wildfires. Second part, that homelessness, because he took money from the state fire department years ago. He was always gutting them, not giving them enough money because they wanted to go out to the forest and take out all the dead shrubbery. Because what happens is when the sun gets really hot and that shrubbery catches on fire, it's going to spread too fast with the winds.
Okay.
And he refused to do that. So he didn't want to give the fire department, the Cal State Fire, all the money they needed. But the Cal Fire Union didn't want to yell too much because they wanted to get their pay increases. Okay. That homelessness, now this is going to be a problem for Gavin Newsom when he runs for president. Because when they really show that his friends is getting this money and not doing what they were supposed to, that's a lot different than his friends getting the money to go buy the Chinese mask for COVID, and then they squander all that. That's different. This homelessness situation is really bad because you can't have the most beautiful state in the nation and have people living on the street. Some of them have mental illnesses, so we need to address that.
Arguably the most beautiful state in the nation.
Are you throwing Kentucky in the mix?
No, absolutely not. But Alaska, you get an Alaskan on here, and you in trouble.
So when it comes to
the part of Alaska where the sun is out for 80 feet straight, that part
Alaska and Hawaii are not CONUS. So if you go to the CONUS military, man, you go to the CONUS here in America, California, excluding Florida. That's the only other state that can really compete with the weather and the blue, because they have that beautiful blue water. California's most beautiful.
Florida's the Australia of the United States of America. Nobody really wants to go there.
Vermont and Ohio are more beautiful than California.
Disney World.
That's fine. All right. So California is a beautiful state. Fine. All right. So you cannot have the homeless until you lived in California and see how they just run amok in LA and in Sacramento. I'm not even going to talk about San Francisco because it's just
San Francisco got the look.
It's
they bad.
Listen,
they bad in San Francisco.
It's really bad.
I always say that about Houston because we have so much money here. Whenever we have World Series, Super Bowl,
look, we got the World Cup in less than 2 weeks.
Cup. What they do, and listen, they do this in St. Louis too. They move the homeless people from one area to the next area.
Yep.
And they clean up everything, and that just totally pisses me off. And I know I've said that on here before because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So when I lived in California, I did learn about the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Oscar.
I was going to say that's exactly what they do in San Francisco. Anytime you have the major conferences and stuff like that, the mayor of San Francisco always just moves the homelessness out from being an eyesore,
right,
from people coming from different parts.
And this conference, and Matt Mahan just did that when the election started and the campaigning started. San Jose cleaned up really quick because he was the sitting mayor, and then he started campaigning. I cleared homelessness and blah 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 blah. It's like not until the elections.
But wait a minute. They can't
get out from this street, and you just moved it to the next. So you clean this street and move them to the next street.
They can't get out of this one because the Republican Party has already gone with their video people and already taken pictures and everything. They've been running documentaries on how bad the homeless is in California, so they can hurt whatever Democrat tries to run the presidency.
It's just going to be.
You guys remember when President Xi came to San Francisco? And what did they do to San Francisco?
Well, I think California. I think Democrats, because Democrats have held power for a long time, and it's under their watch that we've seen the collapse of. I mean, San Jose as an example, went from the safest city in America, the cleanest city in America, to one that is not even anywhere near the first top 5, right? So just that alone, for people that are locals, remember that. They remember a time where San Jose was really clean. They remember when San Jose was a great place to be. Crime was low. You can go out, you can leave your car, open, or your home open.
Oh Lord, does that make them great again? Don't slip over.
And that's just not the case anymore, unfortunately. It's true. They have the homelessness problem.
Wow.
They have the can't live within the means. Like they constantly are wanting to tax and bring these county tax, city tax, state tax on top of what's going on. It's just like, I'm sorry, you can't keep the well flowing with water when there's not that much water left in there. Like at some point you got to, preserve some of that water, hold it for reserves, and get rid of excess. Because
let me take a few steps back to the homelessness. First off, I did know that there was a homeless migration on the West Coast, and it's a true thing, right? The homeless will migrate with the weather. At a certain time of the year, they go further south, and at another time of the year, they migrate further north, even up through Washington, Oregon, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of the homelessness that California is experiencing is a part of that homeless migration that is moving with the cycle. It's not. I don't think it's just naturalized or natural born Californians. I think it's first off the illusion and the lure of the glitz and the glamour of California that it's going to automatically bring, be with Hollywood and LA, all that good stuff, and then I'm trying to think of the homesteaders from up north that will migrate south when it gets cold, and that plays into it also. So I don't think it's just natural born Californians.
No, that's for sure. I mean, but a lot of it has to do with corrupt practices too within cities, and I think we've talked about it before in other shows where you have certain cities that just toss people on a Greyhound bus and go like, here's a one-way ticket, enjoy San Francisco, or they tell them like there's more services there. You go to San Francisco, they got shelters, they've got places that you can go make that line outside the shelter. You need methadone, they've got methadone, like just go.
Our governor did that, petty mess.
But that was with immigrants, not home.
Yeah, so I mean, the trafficking of people in general, be they immigrants or be they homeless, the trafficking of people via government happens quite frequently. How do a bunch of people end up in Hawaii?
Mm-hmm.
You go to Maui, and you got some homeless people on Maui beaches, and then they're like, well, these are mainlanders. So you have a lot of Hawaiians going like, man, all these mainlander homeless people are coming, and how the hell are they getting here? And you ask them, they were bought flights to Hawaii.
You know what?
So they can claim on their end, we reduced homelessness because you see it less of them on the streets, but really it wasn't a solution. It was just moving the problem elsewhere.
It was a shuffle.
But this is a situation where some people have a mental illness and they need help. And when Reagan made it a federal thing to gut the mental health facilities, that really hurt that situation. And then you have the drug situation, which that's a story within itself.
Mm-hmm.
You have some criminal, but then you would have the people who never want to be homeless. But
living from paycheck to paycheck,
right. And so, unfortunately, we want to have a free market, but yet in the same hand, the free market, if your job doesn't keep up with the free market to where you can afford your apartment, and now they kind of force you into being homeless, and you find out that being homeless in California is not really as bad as it could be in other states, because I am still trying to figure out all these people who died of COVID. Why didn't the homeless not all die immediately? They lived. The homeless. Okay, well maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember the homeless population declining significantly.
Well, that's because fewer people were out on the street, so they had it good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to the homeless populations, the more densely packed they are, the more disease does spread within those communities.
Why did they die? I mean, I want them to die, but they should have.
It's hard to tell when it's just like
than you think.
It's like undocumented people. Like, how do you know when you don't know?
But like the whole thing with the COVID, people are isolated, and it's just like if the streets are empty and everybody's isolated, then it's not like they're exposed to a lot of different people where they could catch it. Or like Oscar was just saying,
are they even vaccinated? Did they even get vaccinated? No.
I think some campaigns were done.
Yes, they did. That word is on the street.
That's why.
My thesis on the homeless situation in St. Louis when I went to Webster University, and so it's not necessarily cookie cutter, but situations are. First and last month's rent is hell to come up with or to keep up with. So families are separated.
Yeah.
And back when I did my thesis, you guys know Larry Rice, or remember Larry Rice? I wonder if he's still alive.
I remember old Larry Rice. I was downtown and evangelizing with him and feeding the homeless at one point. Yeah, I was.
I got a chance to interview him and a couple of other people that were doing their own thing. And it was called, it was a video, what was it? Media communications was my my major. And so I did a video. It was called An Awakening to Reality. That's what I called it. And I interviewed and found out why people, for the most part, were homeless. I found out there were levels to it. There are families. It's not just why lie, I need a beer. You know, if the government finds out that you have a male in your home, then you won't get assistance. You know what I'm saying? Whole lot of stuff. It was just so many things. And then like not being able to afford first and last month's rent. Rent is high. No matter, you know, whatever city you live in, it's the same element. But when I named it that, the thing that was that I learned from that is that my awakening to reality was not just that homelessness was rapid throughout society, and it's not necessarily a choice like some people think that it is. I learned that at the school I was working at while I was going to school, our custodian was down there at Larry Rice because I caught him in my B-roll. And he said, please, he was like, please don't share that. And I was like, oh, absolutely not. But he told me his story. He worked at my school. Young guy. He was like 26 then. Had a family, but he had to separate himself from his wife. And I think he had like 3 little girls so that they could get assistance. And so he would just go to, and they were living paycheck to paycheck. So that was really the awakening that I got, that it's the person it could potentially be the person next to you. And in my case, the person that worked in the same school that I worked in.
Yeah.
And that was my mind.
When you bring that point up, it gets my pro-labor going, because one of the most ruthless corporations in America is called Walmart. They want to pretend that they're God's gift, but they won't allow their workers to unionize. And half of that workers are on food assistance.
Yep.
And it makes me so...
And sleeping in
I lost friendships in college class because I got into a fight with the teacher. Even though the teacher was right, the supply chain of Walmart is incredible.
Yeah,
it never stops. But your morality is whack.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was going to say the crazy part about that, you bring up a fantastic point. Walmart is one of the biggest perpetrators of keeping people poor, right? They keep people on assistance. And where do they spend that money? Back at Walmart.
Yeah, so they benefit. They're the biggest benefitter from public assistance. That corporation is the biggest benefitter of public assistance.
It's like where do you use your food stamps, your SNAP benefits, your stuff like that? Right back at Walmart.
When they talk about the Walton kids, I could care less. When they talk about Stan Kroenke, when he married one of the Walton girls, and Stan Kroenke took that football team from St. Louis.
Yeah.
And they paid St. Louis for that nonsense because St. Louis didn't want to build the stadium. I think about
St. Louis always tripping because they don't want to build a stadium, and then they build.
But they built the TWA. But this time, the NFL, who normally never settled with St. Louis, and they kept it really hush hush. Yeah. So when I think about Walmart, and then I think about the homeless, because to me they're all kind of tied together. The homeless catch all the brunt of the negativity. Walmart is preached in college campuses about, go work for Walmart, go work for Walmart, and help them maximize their shareholder value. So you're maximizing shareholder value by exploiting others. Well, that sounds like a drug dealer.
It sounds like a standard order to me. But I wanna move back to the standard
California elections.
Yeah. California elections, right? So let's imagine California does end up flipping red in November. What does that do? I know it's a hypothetical, right? But I think we have to begin to look at the things that we're not used to seeing traditionally in this environment. It's hard to predict what's gonna happen.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
So when Arnold was the governor, was it red or was it blue?
Purple.
Republican. I know.
It was purple.
It's purple.
He wasn't no good either.
I'm not saying. I'm trying to get a picture of.
He wasn't.
Well, I'm saying it.
California being red.
Arnold the Republican.
And so the reason.
Jay, tell him to do it.
No.
He can impersonate Arnold Schwarzenegger really well.
That for around the horn.
I impersonate Ari Spears impersonating Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But he does it very well.
Get to the chopper.
The Congress of California legislature was still Democrat when Schwarzenegger was in charge, but it was still controlled by Congress. Democrats still controlled the legislature.
Gotcha.
So let's say California. Go ahead, Oscar. What are you about to say? I'm surprised Brooks ain't jumping in all over this.
No, I was gonna say, I was gonna say my assessment is I'm never. It's really tough for me to if it becomes a red state in this current administration, it may end up being more amicable to the administration, right? Because right now you have a lot of opposition, right? You have a lot of counties, a lot of cities, a lot of the state folks suing constantly suing the administration on stays for court hearings, for grants, for all this stuff that is being stripped from California. But a red candidate would probably be more favorable in terms of the current administration. That doesn't mean that they won't decimate, right? They won't. My biggest problem right now is this. I used to be a guy that's like, I didn't care whether it was red or blue because they were just differences of opinions. They were just slight variations of these people do more social things. These people are a little bit more fiscally conservative, so they will cut back a little bit and they will realign the budgets. But now it's a little bit everywhere. There's a little fanaticism in both camps about their own ideologies. And that's where I take a little bit of, I'm hating the pendulum swings too far. Too far religious, too far liberal, too far, overtaxing, too far, cuts, like the middle ground is kind of just fizzled out. And it's just this constant clash. And I think that's not good overall for the nation in the long run, because you can't be at odds every single time. You can't be at your throats every single time, because that's exhausting. And not only is it exhausting, it's super inefficient for government agencies. It's super inefficient for local and city governments. It just really is a big impact to it. So I just, whatever it is, red or blue, I just hope that we don't swing too far in one direction or the other.
Unfortunately, we will, because this is the United States of America and nobody has balance. But go ahead, Brooks. My bad. Go ahead, Brooks.
To Oscar's point, it's the being from the
Which Brooks
Midwest,
is this?
that's why, when I talk to my California friends about elections in any case, whether it
We
be
can't hear you.
presidential or local, they cannot hear me.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you. I got you.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. We
I
got
don't
you.
think we'll hear you.
When we talk to, I talk to my California friends about political elections and whoever candidate, one way or the other, they discount. They call us the flyover states. They literally miss the memo where not everybody thinks like California, and they've been stuck in this bubble so very long that they forget that there's an other side to the pendulum. And when a candidate like Trump wins, they're all up in arms. They're like, why doesn't people just think like us? You look at it in this situation where these elections, I do think there's a chance that, Republican candidate can win governor. I really think that's a very long shot, frankly, because even though one of the candidates is in the top two, you have, I think, 3 or 4 other candidates, or maybe 5 or 6, that have the rest of the vote on the Democratic side. And so once you get into a national election, that, we're gonna see how that unfolds. But, the pure fact that they have that one candidate on the Republican side that is kind of like, I guess, an alternative to what's the voice and the narrative that's always been here for the most part, I think that scares them. They just want people to just mind hive and think like the Democratic ideology that's just predominantly just taken over the state.
Well, the only thing that I see going wrong for the Republican candidate is that they're backed by Trump. I think by November, Trump-backed candidates are going to have to spin a different narrative in order to position themselves properly.
Yeah, having a commercial that says I was with Trump 99% of the time. How'd that work out for Cornyn?
That was in the primary.
Yeah, exactly.
That was in the primary.
Yeah, but no,
Exactly.
we've seen that here all the time.
Yeah,
Wesley Hunt had the same commercial. 99%
absolutely.
of the time. Oh yeah, that's a drinking
Yeah.
game here on our commercials.
And so what's
He
happening?
might not win them all, but
and
you
it's-
look
it's
at the majority of the candidates that he endorsed, a great number of them have won their primaries.
Well, lately
But
the
we
ones
talked
that
about that
said
a couple weeks ago.
99% have lost.
I wouldn't say 99%. I said like a majority have won.
I'm
I
just
think it's like
telling you,
54%.
I'm telling you, here in Texas, the ones that have said 99% Trump have lost more than they've won.
And
That's all.
I'm not saying that you're wrong, Brooks, but what I'm saying is, as we continue this path towards the midterms, the candidates that are being backed by Trump are also starting to be brought down by Trump. And I think Iowa is about to end up being a great example of that. Unfortunately, depending on which way you look at it. But again, at one point, yeah, was it Paxton who recently picked up the nomination for a primary in Texas.
And we can reconcile with his
yeah.
wife.
No. He didn't reconcile. They just canceled their court date.
Oh, okay.
Right.
They're still getting divorced.
Okay.
But it's not going to be this ugly thing in court anymore.
Okay.
Right. And then out here in Kentucky, the Trump-backed candidate won. However, as we continue to move towards November, and this is why I was asking about California being able to flip, but because as we continue to move towards November, a lot of the things that are happening, and this is one of the reasons why the House Republicans and the Senate Republicans are pushing to restrict the War Powers Act, is because this Iran thing is taking a toll on the incumbents, and the people that keep pushing this and making excuses are being seen through at this point. The economy, the fluctuation of gas, the gas with 15% ethanol, where it was once 10, is tearing people's cars up, right? And these are all, unfortunately, Trump-based maneuverings. And so they're beginning to give the Democrats more than what they need. Now, I don't think the Democrats are capitalizing the way they should, but
Give them time.
in the event,
We cook
in the event it happens that California turns red, what does that do to everybody else? Will that upset the seats? Right now, as I looked at, let me see if my computer's going to work properly because I've had it up for forever. I looked at 270 to win. I looked at 270 to win, and it still has
For presidential election.
Yeah.
no for the House. It still has the
270 is electoral votes. 270 is what you will need to
right to win the presidential
for presidential election. You need to get to 270.
right, but
Yeah.
the one that I'm looking at right now is 2026 House election interactive map. I don't know why I can show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah, but I think didn't you say the total number of seats in the House is 435? I think Lynn said that a couple weeks ago. 435, right?
Yeah.
Yep, all 435 seats to be contested in 2026, right?
Well, you need
so-
half of that, just over half to
Yeah.
control it. So half of 435 is not 226, but it's 217 and a half.
Yeah, so 217. Yeah,
Carry
217. So Kalshi is predicting that the Democrats
218
are-
rounded. Yeah.
Kalshi's predicting that the Democrats are going to take it 79%. But
Okay.
when you look at when you go down and you look at the interactive map, the contested for 2026, it has Democrats at 205 and the Republicans at 211. So there's still seats up for grab to get there, but the Democrats are down, and they're not down by more than they're not. It's not like they can't make that ground up, essentially.
Well, so here's okay. So I'm not going to argue with the bettors, but here's what I will say. I asked everybody. I said, will the Democrats and the Republicans, regardless of who wins, will they accept the election results in November of 2026?
Democrats always accept the
Yeah,
results.
we're not Trump.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah, was that a question?
Okay. Well, okay now.
I mean, even when you think about Bush and Gore, Democrats, as crazy as Bush and Gore was,
Right. Now I get you on that.
Democrats just said, Gore, and they followed Gore's lead. Gore was like, okay.
So let me ask you. So if Trump, listen to this, if the Republicans pull some slick stuff, so the redistrict was in your face. That's in your face. But
And Alabama just doubled down on it.
Well, no, Alabama knew they could get their thing done because their lawsuit was similar to the other one in Louisiana. So the redistrict was in your face. We're gonna do a redistrict, and by the time we count all these redistrict seats, we will have done our strategy correctly, and we'll have more than you. And I said this from the very beginning when they started this redistrict war in Texas. But what if the Republicans do some other slick stuff? And
Such
then,
as,
well, if I'm a Republican and I know that black folks have to turn out on the last day, I'm gonna shut your polls down early. I sure would. I don't like you.
Okay.
You're black, you're inferior
That's
anyway.
not unheard of.
Polls down.
Yeah.
That's one way. And then if you mail your ballot in, I'm gonna contest all those mail-in ballots. And I'm gonna contest
That one's going to be hard though.
Yeah. Huh?
That one to be hard. It's
How
worth
do
a
you shut
stop
down
or
the
a
polls
stall.
early? Why? How do you shut down the polls early?
Like they did here.
No, that was a glitch, and it didn't shut early. What they didn't do was extend it
Well,
when they fixed the glitch.
I think what Stephanie's referring to is back in St. Louis. So
That's like they
I'm
did
talking
here.
Here. Yeah.
right, but I think what she's referring to is back in St. Louis, what they've done before in the past.
No, she was talking about here,
In Texas, like
but they didn't.
What
They
she's
didn't
referring
finish it
to,
early.
she's
They
probably
just
referring.
extended like they should have.
Yeah.
What she's probably referring to is what they've done back in St. Louis in the past.
Richard, why are you saying I'm here with the woman she's talking about?
Right. So what she's probably referring to.
Stop
What
with
she's probably
this.
referring to.
Stop. That's not what she's referring to. She's referring to Al Green versus Christian Menifee. Old versus black. I mean, young black versus old black.
Okay.
That's the reference.
Okay.
In the last election, their last primary vote.
Last week.
Last week playing.
Oh,
But
okay.
keep going, Richard. You're doing a great job.
So since I know the Democrats won't contest nothing I do, and if I'm President Trump, I'm gonna do anything, because if I lose that House and I lose that Senate, I'm gonna be removed from office. So when a person is facing those types of actions, future possible actions, then that person will do anything and everything. You say, well,
The person that was facing prison until he did what?
hold on. Because if you say, well, wait a minute. Hold on now. See, this is where I catch Lynn. One minute Lynn says this, the next minute he comes back.
Where's my inconsistency
You
at?
cross me over.
Where's the inconsistency?
Hold on a second. You are not Jalen Brunson. You are not crossing me over.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. So what I'm simply saying is, if I'm a Republican and I know the Democrats always take the high road and say we will accept the election results, if that's what you say, I'm going to stick it down your throat, because I remember Democrats telling me years ago on this show that when they go low, we go high. And I see Democrats cussing and acting a damn fool now. They showing their ass out, even the white ones. So
he said even.
The white ones, they run the party anyway.
Even? Yeah.
The white ones run both parties.
Now,
and the
election
and the independents.
Okay. Now that you brought that up, now when you talk about California turning red, what I want to see is, will Debbie Wasserman Schultz down in District 20 in Florida, if she wins, or will an African American win that district that's been held by an African American for all these years? See, that's what I want to know.
Well, I was saving that for next week.
Oh, okay.
I was saving that for next week. That's why I didn't bring it up yet. It's definitely a talking point. It's definitely a talking point. Brooks, you said
the question is, will she play Two Live Crew at her rallies? That's the question.
Nah, because Uncle Luke ain't with her. But Brooks, you said
if I was in District 20 in Florida, even though he's running as a Democrat, I would vote for Luther Campbell. I would.
But
I don't remember Hillary Clinton accepting the results of the election. Matter of fact, I quite remember.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Brooks, don't lie. Yes,
since y'all don't like me using Chat GPT, let me go to Google, and I'll get on Claude, and I'll get an account on Claude also.
Try your face. You've been hiding all the time. Look, come on.
There he is.
Mr. Brooks is right, actually. That's why I didn't say anything. He's actually right with
AI.
Mr. Brooks is right. She never accepted that election loss. No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
Oh,
did she call and concede?
Did she?
Yes, she did.
Okay. I don't remember her doing that.
Not at
Right,
first.
just like you don't remember that OJ money. But trust me.
You know what?
What?
132,800.
What? You got it? You got it in checking? Because if you got it in checking, you can send me that check.
All right. 132,800.
I love when people be talking about, oh, that ain't no money. Send it to me. It's money to me. Send it to me. Negroes. Oh, that ain't no money.
Look,
I don't know about that.
Huh? What's it say?
Hillary Clinton concedes presidential
say?
election of Donald Trump. We must
let
accept
Richard
this
read it.
result.
Let Richard read it. No. Brooks. I want Brooks to show his face while he reads it.
I keep telling people we go live. Hey, we fact check live. We get it. We get to it.
Read it.
So it says
He did not accept it at first, but yeah, I do see it.
Oh, he's switching it up.
I can see the point.
I don't see that.
Peanut gallery.
That's not what I see.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, Brooks, what you doing? Camping?
Yeah.
Oh, what you doing?
And see, y'all put me in a bad position because now the people that watch it is gonna be like, "Oh, that dude in the Cardinals shirt, think he know everything." I just know my facts.
No.
I know my facts.
Sometimes you know what you're talking about. Sometimes
It ain't
you
yet on the league yet.
Wait, okay, Jay Glass, let him read it.
Let him read
Just
it.
like I said, that
Come
Cyrus's
on,
people
read
had
it.
filed that lawsuit, and you just knew for sure they hadn't, but they had.
Let him read.
No. What I was saying was, what
I
was the
can see
result?
the point. Fair enough.
No, we
But
want to see
I
your
do
face.
remember, hey, at first she did not want to, she actually complained about it, and then,
Here we go. But
called
listen,
in.
I can't hear this until you read it.
Congratulations.
Why don't you read it like a
Okay.
man and then give your soliloquy? How about that?
Because I'm on my phone. It's all
But
tiny.
you can see the screen. You can't see the screen?
It's
on your
tiny
phone?
on my screen. I'm on my phone.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
tiny.
Hold on.
Here, let me read it for you. Let me
I
read it.
help you
Slide it down,
Let
class.
Richard read it.
Hey, Hillary Clinton called her supporters, except the U.S. Well, the live things in the middle of that part, as she delivered a concession speech in New York, which she expressed Donald Trump to hold fast to the American values. Donald Trump is going
And
to
what
be
night
our
did she do that on?
president.
What night did she do that on?
Wait,
What night? I think we call it election night.
it says
Isn't it
that says
election night?
Wednesday, November 9th.
Right after midnight.
This is
That was a
November.
week later.
Election night is
No, that's not.
November
No,
5th.
no.
That's just the article.
Yeah,
That's the article. She
the
called
article.
that night.
She called that night.
She called that night.
Now Richard got
it
questions. She
doesn't
called
say that in here.
Or did she call early in the morning? Oh, it doesn't say it in there. You couldn't even read what it said. But look, see, he can read this
Doesn't say
with
it
the
in there.
big ass
The
bold
headline. Read the
headline in a bigger font. He couldn't read that.
Yeah,
Read what?
The
Which part are you talking about?
headline.
What are you talking about?
Jay Glass.
I was
Jay
going to
Glass,
read the
what's
headline.
the headline.
gonna
That
read
no one ever reads.
Oh, snaps.
What?
I just highlighted it where she said she called. The
Tuesday
Democratic
night.
candidate said she phoned her opponent on Tuesday night.
And that's what we call election night, homie.
Yes,
That's election night.
I will highlight the rest of it. Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country, she said. I hope that he will be a president for all our country. I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we all share. That was
There you
that
go.
Tuesday night.
See, this is what you call a class act. And she ain't need to mean a word of it, but what did she put out there on Front Street? So you can pontificate
She didn't
on how she felt,
Hey,
and what she meant. You can do all of that, Brooks, but that's what she said. And she said it election night.
Yep.
So
Period.
did Kamala Harris do it
Okay.
election night too? I
I
can't
Yeah.
stand corrected.
Yes.
Do I need to look that up?
Yes, she did. From Howard University.
Richard
She
going
did.
for broke. Richard going for broke. He's really
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Did John McCain do that?
Did Joe Biden?
Oh,
Did Barack Obama?
oh. That was good stuff. I keep telling people we ain't always right, we ain't always wrong, but what we can do is we can figure it out. That way we can all be on the same sheet of music, right?
I love being wrong because that's when I get a chance to learn.
Yeah, I get a chance to be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I do know. There's a lot of time between now and November,
Yes,
and we don't know what can happen. Manufactured or natural, we don't know what's coming.
Everything can happen.
And what I'm so afraid of, I think a lot more stuff's going to happen. If I'm a Muslim and I hate America and I'm living in America, first chance I get, I'm going to try to bomb you from every direction.
Richard,
Stop saying
what if this war is still going on? What do you think happens in November? Because nobody believes this war is still going to be going on, but it's a very good possibility.
Hold on, no, wait. I agree with you. The war. Well, first of all, hold on, Mr. Lynn Medeiros. I told y'all from the very beginning, this is not a war. This is a conflict.
War.
It's a
Nope.
conflict.
It's a war.
Because only Congress can declare war. So
war.
get your Lynn Medeiros. Get your words right, Medeiros.
War.
Get your
And
words right.
the POTUS has called it a war.
But Congress Congress declares
Not-
war. No one else.
not only-
so get your shit right,
Look,
Medeiros.
that's like being
Not
brain
only,
dead.
not only does
Medeiros.
That's like
Congress
being brain
declare war,
dead.
Come on now,
That's
Medeiros.
like being
I
brain
will-
dead.
I will agree with you that Congress declares war. However,
Supposed to, but
President,
not
the
in this
commander in
America.
chief. Well,
Not
but
in
the
this
commander in
America. So
chief.
don't make no excuse now. You was
Ain't
talking
no
about the law.
excuse.
I'm not looking
You
at
was
you.
talking about the law. You was talking about that law
Look,
regarding
tell me.
Law.
No,
Listen,
he's
about the
Lynn
law.
is correct.
He
Lynn is
broke
correct.
the law. He broke the law
Rich,
as he is wont to do.
Rich, you
As a 34-time felon,
He
he loves breaking the law.
you're both correct. You're both correct, right? So
You're wrong,
Congress
man.
declares no, he's not. He's not. You're right, and he's right. Congress
No.
declares war. However,
not a war.
presidents have a specific amount of time that they can go and engage in the conflict before Congress has to
But it's
declare
not a
war. And
Conflict.
it is. It's
No,
it's still a war. However,
Conflict.
after 60
It's
days,
a conflict. Look it up on
After-
Google, and Google will tell you the last time
After-
America declared war was in 1942.
after 60
World War
days,
II.
after
No,
60
no, no,
days,
bullshit.
Congress
That's
has to
bullshit.
officially declare war.
Bullshit. Look
And
it up
that's
on Google,
why-
and Google
that's
will tell
why-
you.
You think
That's why the House and the
That's an
Senate
absolute lie.
have to vote
That's an
on
absolute lie.
the
This is not a
Presidential
war, and I will
War
not be
Powers Act
manipulated.
at this
I
point.
will not be manipulated.
Nobody's
Not
manipulating
media
you.
or anyone else. Only Congress.
Oh. Dr. Bryant. Stephanie pulled the Dr. Bryant card.
What would she say?
What would Dr. Bryant What would Dr. Bryant say right there?
First of all,
being
you
all
don't talk
tripping.
about my future. You
She
don't talk
said-
about my future wife like that.
She's
I
gonna
ain't
call
having
you.
You are
She
not
said she's
talking.
gonna call you.
You are not talking about my future wife like that. I'm not having that. That's
She
my
said
future
she's gonna
wife.
call you.
Look, from now on, next week, Jay Glass, my thing is going to say Dr. Madeira.
Right.
Look, I have a doctorate
I'm-
in risk. I have a doctorate in risk management and insurance.
You know what?
I'm Rich. So let me show you what I Googled and show you what I'm looking through. And what I'll do is next week I'll pull up more information as to why that the House is passing the resolution to end hostilities with Iran. So when I just put in, is the United States currently at war with Iran? All right. And everything that comes up says U.S. House votes to halt Iran war in rebuke to Trump. House passes resolution to end hostilities with Iran. House approves war
what you're
powers
trying to-
resolution to halt.
I understand
Latest
that.
analysis:
And what
war
you do is
with
go to the
Iran.
U.S. Constitution. Go to the
No,
U.S.
I
Constitution
I
and pull
said
that
you're
shit
correct
up.
also. That's why I
You
said
said you said to
Go
go
to
to
the
Google.
U.S. Constitution.
You said to go to Google. Didn't you just tell us to go to
What you
Google?
do is put in there. When's the last time America has declared war? It's going to tell you 1942.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all.
I know you can't.
I'm not.
That's
But we've
okay.
gone to war since then.
That's why I said you're correct.
It's called the
and
Vietnam War, ain't it?
No,
Ain't
it was
you
a
looking at
Vietnam
that war?
conflict. It's misnomer.
No, it's called the Korean War, ain't it?
this is what I was talking to you about.
The Gulf
This is what I-
War.
Didn't declare
This is what I was
that.
telling you about. Under the War Powers
Iraqi War.
Resolution of 1973, the president is strictly limited to deploying U.S. armed forces into hostilities or situations where imminent involvement in hostilities is clearly indicated for a maximum of 60 days without explicit congressional authorization.
Did it say war? It did not say war because only
So it has to explicitly
declares
say war. So
It
if
does not say
that,
war there.
the 60-day rule operates under the following conditions. But I tell you what, we will get constitutional analysis.
Thanks, Lee Brooks, for helping me out there. Thanks, Lee.
Lee left you. Lee ain't
Don't
said
be
nothing.
coming in Brooks. Brooks over here like he
Brooks said-
Aladdin Genie.
It says 48 notifications, 60-day clock officially begins when the president submits a formal report to Congress explaining the deployment in which must occur with 48 hours of initiating hostilities. 30-day extension, the president can request a 30-day extension. This requires written certification of Congress that an unavoidable military necessity regarding the safety of U.S. troops require their continued use to safely withdraw. If Congress does not declare war past a specific statutory authorization, such as AUMF, or granted a 30-day extension by the end of the 60 days or 90 days. With the extension, the president is required to terminate the use of forces and withdraw the troops.
Your answer was with
Current resolution.
If
Congress can
has
vote to
not-
terminate military action at any point during the 60 days via a concurrent resolution, which
Here's your
requires the
answer.
president to withdraw troops immediately.
Here's your answer again. Congress
So
can vote to terminate military action.
I'm saying you're right and he's right.
He's
The
not
president
right.
can
It's
enter
not a war.
Oh,
How
my
do you spin that shit? If you want to go by the letter of the
under.
law, only
Look.
Congress-
I'm going to highlight this for you. I'm gonna highlight this for you.
You can't highlight shit for me because you can't show me the U.S. Constitution where it says
Under
that
the
shit.
War Powers Resolution of 1973. Under the War Powers Resolution of 1973.
Which is after 42.
Tells you, if Congress has
Limited.
not declared war,
Under the
Only
War
Congress-
Powers
it does not matter about the
Resolution.
war.
Under
It says
the
under the
War
War-
Powers Resolution.
Richard, you making us Geminis look bad. Richard,
War Powers
Richard.
Resolution.
Richard, you making us Geminis look
Dead
bad.
wrong. And
It
this is-
doesn't
this is
say
the
under the
inconsistency.
conflict
This is
powers
the
of resolution.
inconsistency.
I
It
am
doesn't
for
say under the it doesn't say under the campaign resolutions of Congress. It says under the War Powers
It's
Resolution.
not a war. Only
Under
Congress-
the
I don't
War
care if it-
Powers
It
Resolution.
doesn't matter if it says under the War Powers Act. Only Congress declares war. So y'all
Under
can spin this
the
shit any way
War
that you want.
Powers
It
Resolution
doesn't matter. You're wrong. You're
of
fucking wrong.
1973.
You're fucking
The
wrong.
president is strictly limited to deploying U.S. armed forces into hostilities.
Richard,
situations.
You're wrong. I
Richard.
don't care how you read it. You're wrong.
Richard, you say stop cussing when you mad just cause you wrong.
You're wrong. I don't care what you say. Only
War
Congress
Powers
declares
Resolution
war.
of 1973, Nixon Library. Now, again, I'm not totally disagreeing with you, because
I know you're
in order,
You
no,
know
I
I'm
can't,
right.
because in order for the United States to go to full scale war,
It's levels to it.
So
in
here
order
we go.
for us to
Declaration
go
of war
to-
by the U.S.
in order for
Declaration of war. Last
yeah,
time,
in order-
1942. Look it
yeah,
up.
the
Declaration of
president
war by the
can't
U.S. Look it
declare
up
war.
on Wikipedia.
I'm
Look it
agreeing
up.
with you. The president can't declare war. However, under the War Powers Resolution of 1973, a president can commit to these actions for a specific amount of
It doesn't say
time
war actions. It
and-
says actions.
under
United
the
States has
War
already-
Powers
The United States
Resolution
has formally declared war
of
in 5 separate conflicts.
1973,
Issuing declarations
Nicholas,
against
read it
foreign
slower.
nations.
under
Only
the
Only
War
countries who have-
Powers
Doesn't matter.
Resolution.
I'm not going to argue with you, boy. This is redundant. It's redundant.
but
I'm not
but
gonna argue
I'm-
with you. That's what y'all want to do.
Geminis look bad, man.
we'll dig into it. We'll dig into it more with the Constitution.
So this is where hey Oscar, this is how I catch people when they want to talk about consistency. I say, well, if I'm going to be wrong, okay, I'm going to be wrong. But when we go by the letter of the law, then y'all want to come back around and say, well, under the war powers. See, you sound like a Democrat.
You know who else
Like a
used
Republican right now.
you,
Actually,
you know you do know who else used the War Powers Resolution, right? President Obama.
Obama.
Yeah, I never said that.
Obama.
But
Yep.
he never went to war with nobody.
Bro.
So
But he had
Again.
wars power.
again,
You.
again, the United States, the last time they declared war was in 1942.
We know the history. We know the history, sir.
And I,
We also
I agree
know
with-
we at war with Iran. Period.
Okay. All right.
Both things can be, both things can be true.
All
You
right.
familiar
Y'all
with
keep, y'all keep thinking stuff.
It's a
But see, this is
term
how,
which-
and you know what's funny about this? This is how the media plays people, whether you're from the left or from the right. If you keep, this is where Donald Trump is actually right. If he keeps saying I'm the greatest, pretty soon he'll have people saying the same thing. Just
He already got clowns
just
saying
because
that.
you say something, does
They
that
wear
mean
red hats.
Yeah.
so
They
just
wear
because the
red
media
hats.
is telling you,
Saying
just
that.
because the media is telling you that this is a war, it's not a war. It's a military conflict.
No, the president said it's a war.
I don't care what the president says. He's wrong on this.
Okay, here we go.
He's wrong
What
on
are we
this.
doing?
Only Congress declares war.
What you saying?
Wow.
So
Only
he,
Congress declares war.
And you are correct on that. Only Congress can declare war. He didn't declare war. He's just taking war actions.
Yep.
He just went to war.
What
And
did
that's
they-
it took me a second to be like, wait a minute, this dude, he's riding the line for real.
So
He's
you're
seriously
telling me.
riding the line.
So well, hold on.
You don't know.
When Congress declares war, is war a noun, a pronoun, an adjective, or an adverb?
It depends on what the definition of is.
That's a great point. That's a
Yeah.
great point. So
So
when Congress says Congress
Somebody
declares
that-
war on Iran,
What's in that
Declares-
cover? Somebody
wait a
under the
minute.
desk.
Wait a
That's
minute.
all we need to
Congress,
know.
I believe Congress is the noun, declares is the verb. If I'm correct,
I'm just
war
a
would be
people.
the direct. Oh God, the direct object of the noun. So
I can't fight with you on that one because I can't follow it like that. I
what
can't.
I'm simply saying is when Congress, when the president says all kinds of things that's not technically correct, I don't care what he says, he's wrong. And that's why they're taking these votes, because they're saying we never declared war. Who the hell
Yes.
you to say we've gone to war with Iran? We never declared it. So even if you
But-
say we're going to war with Iran, we never declared for you to give you the authorization. But because of
why
the
do you
1973,
think?
you can't take actions.
All of them.
You can't take actions up to 60 days until Congress comes to declare war.
We
Yes.
killed 170 something schoolgirls.
Yeah, and I'm not.
What?
That's not the
What?
part that I'm disagreeing with you on. What I'm saying is, if he couldn't have done it, Congress would have done it the first day he did something in
No,
Iran,
he can take,
and they
he
didn't.
can take military actions. What I'm simply saying is he cannot say that we're in a war because he cannot declare a war. Only Congress can.
He says
He
it all
says
the
it every
time.
day. He says it every
He
day.
didn't declare war. He just said we're in a war with.
Going up and killing people
Congress
every
has
day.
to make the official declaration.
So
Right?
he didn't declare sex. He just had sex with those underage
I'm
people.
just saying.
He didn't declare it.
So that's
He just did it.
but that's the line that they're riding. That's the line that's literally the line that they're riding, and it was hard for the Democrats to do anything against it because he had 60 days and then he had another 30-day extension, and he's busted it at this point. That's why they've been trying to push the vote for this, and Mike Johnson has continued taking them out to recess. He's continued putting them on recess so that they couldn't vote on this.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something.
Uh-oh.
The Democrats,
I'm going over there.
I want to go.
No.
if
Y'all going to blow.
they take the House and the Senate
I don't want to be there that long.
and they don't remove this president within 6 months, I'm going to stop doing this podcast. Because when I see people who are staunch Democrat, and on some issues they're absolutely correct on some issues, but if this man is such a threat to humanity, the way the Democratic Party has convinced America or half of America, if they take both chambers of the Congress, this man better be removed from office. Because if they don't do it, they don't stand for anything. Now, when they remove him from office, if they get both chambers.
No. See,
I
look,
agree.
Richard, they can impeach, but conviction may not be in their hands.
If they take both houses and they can get this man gone.
They vote.
Oh, but wait, hold on.
It's the Democrat.
Vicky, do you still need? You would have to have majority of the Senate, but do you have to get that 60 majority to remove him? I tell you what, I think they could if they had the majority of 50 to 53 in the Senate. I think they could hit that 60 to have him removed.
Yeah, but it's not an look. As my tennis brethren say, the ball is not on their racket for conviction. The ball is definitely on there. They will impeach his ass. Believe you me.
Yeah.
For conviction,
Yeah.
that's
That don't mean
That did the
I'm
last
telling you,
two times.
at the rate he's going.
Brooke, show your face.
Listen to this. They manhandled the Mexican senator from California, Padilla. Okay, then you've been roughhousing those who come over to the country illegally. You've been roughhousing them, not showing them no type of respect, and removing them from the country. Then you go to war when you didn't have to because you're trying to be cool with Netanyahu. Then you try to do that 1.776 billion. Then you've enriched your family. I got that thing you sent today. You enriched your family in numerous ways. At a certain point in time, you've gone too far, and nobody's going to be able to get you out of this. So when I defended you, when I said they politically persecuted you years ago, I know I was right. But now you're on this revenge because you have your white privilege. You're exercising your white privilege to go back at those who came for you, especially if they're black people. You can get rid of them because they don't have no value anyway. And now some of these white people, you're trying to get rid of them too, but that's going to be a harder battle because they have value. But at a certain point, your revenge tour is going to go too far, and there's going to be nothing left for you. Now, between now,
I think we're there.
I think we are too. But between now,
you are here.
So between now,
every point that you're saying, I'm agreeing with. Like, if the Democrats don't do it once they take power, well, then we've got an issue. But I don't think it's going to take that. I think he's about to be in more trouble than what and he's anticipated by trying to sue the IRS as a private citizen for that 10 million, which turned into 1.7 billion. 10 billion.
That was the thing. I'm gonna sue you for 10 billion and settle for 1.8 billion to get this fund over here. That was the game plan. And the reason why they brought that case back onto the docket is because he can't win it.
Exactly. He can't win it. And they tried to do the settlement behind the federal judge's back and use her initials. And that's how, with a panel of over 30 federal judges, they were able to show her the way forward to reopen the case and bring them all into answer, even the president at this point. And that's
judges, Richard. They were retired.
Yes. So,
they had time.
Yes.
They had time to his orange ass.
Hold on a second. I'm not going to dispute any of that. What I'll simply say is this. It doesn't matter what any court system says when it comes to Donald Trump. Everything has to go to the United States Supreme Court. And he has right now a 70% chance of always winning his cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. Unless they think they're going to lose the country, then they'll go against him. If they think they'll lose the country, they'll go against him. So they'll try to give him as many victories as possible. And the biggest victory they can give this president—
birthright citizenship. They're going to give him that one?
No. And I think, and I'm actually on his side on this because that was just for us, the ancestors of the descendants of the enslaved African. There's no way I can run over to Switzerland illegally and think that everything is going to be cool. And if I have a baby with a girl, then no. If I run over to Switzerland with Shamika,
y'all have a baby.
I run over there with Shamika illegally. If me and Shamika run over there illegally and kick out a kid, that kid ain't getting citizenship in Switzerland. No, it's not.
But where is the kid getting citizenship?
From wherever he came from.
Where?
America.
Oh, there you go.
So,
and he can get dual citizenship.
Wait a minute. Switzerland is not going to award my illegal behavior with Shamika or Janae.
But he can request it and he can receive it. There's a path for
Germany does it.
Yeah. All these kids,
these
armed forces kids.
You go to Germany illegally and have a kid with your American, spouse. Cannot go to a country illegally.
I can't push back on that because that was a word that I didn't use, which was the illegal aspect.
There are some things that are favorable to the Republican Party, and there's some things that are very favorable to the Democratic Party. But when it comes to this birthright citizenship, which the Supreme Court, and I know, Lynn, that Alito and Thomas would up in birthright citizenship. But the problem is they can't convince Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Roberts. They can't convince them other three. But Thomas and Alito would upturn the birthright citizenship. Yes, they would in a heartbeat.
Look, anything that Thomas is in, y'all know he's down for the other cause.
Well, okay. So what I'm saying is Everything that involves Donald Trump has to go to the United States Supreme Court. Every single thing.
See, the thing with birthright citizenship is, I don't have a problem with it. The problem ends up being the abuse of it. Like there are a lot of things that go on in this country which, people can say makes the country great. But the problem is when we go too far with it, when we do it to excess, when we abuse that privilege, because that's what that is. Birthright citizenship is a privilege. It's not a right. And people don't understand the difference between rights and privileges. Yeah, but it's not a right. It's a privilege. And because if it was a right, it couldn't be assailed.
Okay.
And you know what? A lot of people think that voting is a right. No, that's a privilege.
It's a privilege.
So, but this is when things get really, really tough. And so, like I said, neither party holds the keys to the afterlife. And this is why I'm against political parties, and this is why I'm against primaries. And now when we go to court, no one believes what a court jury says, because we all know that whatever goes to the Supreme Court, because it's so politically tainted, that they're going to give Donald Trump a victory usually all the time. Only when they have to stop him. And it has to be a major stop. Like when they said
right now, I feel like he's not even 50-50.
He gets 70% victory.
I don't think so. I understand where you're coming from, but the way I see it, because people always say, "Oh, he can do whatever he wants," but it feels like almost every day I'm reading something where he can't do that. Weaponization fund. What happened?
No, when it goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, when it goes to anything that he challenges that goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, I'm telling you, he's going to get 7 out of 10 victories, and he knows this.
I think he's 50-50 at best. And if I had to bet,
because I've been trying to keep track. I guess if we ask ChatGPT or Claude to give us every court case that he's connected to that went to the United States Supreme Court, what is his?
Well, hold on. Let me write that down, because I think that'd be something. Did they take my damn pen?
Because I was trying to keep track on my phone just by different cases, but there were so many of them. Like
I know, like I said, to me, it feels like I wake up every day and they're like, "No, you can't do that."
That GBT gonna be like, y'all don't pay me enough for this."
Right. But we can take a podcast to do that, to run down through the cases.
Some of the Supreme Court cases, what they'll say is, "Well, we don't want to go against Trump, but we're going to throw it back down there because these questions weren't answered." To the little courts. I had it on my phone on some of them, but then when I was trying to keep track of some of the cases, then he does all the other stuff, and then I'm getting thrown off there. And it's just like trying to keep up.
And so that's another problem, because of the slush fund thing, there have been multiple different groups that have sidebar lawsuits against him as well. So it's not just.
Did you see how lucky he got with the judge in Atlanta that they had on tape that was in there with the chief of police?
I missed that one.
She is on one of his cases.
And what did she do?
Yeah. And they got to go back and relook all of her cases because of the way she interacted with that one. Every lawyer that's been in her court for the last few years, everybody that she's sentenced because she's acted with such impropriety and she was caught on tape, regardless of whether or not Trump? It was. Yeah.
Because she favors Trump?
No,
it's not because she favors Trump. It's because of how she's. Yeah, she was recorded in her chamber.
Removed from his case because
the black woman.
Yes, doing the nasty.
Okay, so okay. I heard.
Look, in chambers.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I didn't know if that was actually that was just some hearsay. If they actually have proof of that, I didn't know.
Hearsay. I like what you did there because they heard
the evidence wasn't actually admissible because they weren't supposed to be recording in the judge's chambers. But the issue is, it's out there. It's out there, and that becomes a problem.
But remember when I said all these black folks doing the work for the white liberals, and I said if this man wins office, he's going to come for your neck any which way but loose. including, and then he'll come for the white liberals too. But you'll be the low-hanging fruit. And so, but here's the problem: when he goes after the white liberals for the things that they've done wrong, Comey, okay, but when he goes after Fonnie Willis and Tisha James, he ain't just going after those 2 black women. He's going after every black woman that has a major position in the federal government. In fact, any black person in the federal government that has a high-ranking position, whether military or non-military, it doesn't matter. He wants you out of there.
Yeah, that's why Hegseth is doing what he's doing.
And this is why I kept saying, stop doing it. I'm sorry.
We got to get to a stopping point. We had 3 hours. I was trying to make up for last week when I had to leave for a little bit and then come back. And I think we've satisfied that requirement. So we can't.
We smell like outside. We've been outside.
We was outside earlier because my cat ran out the house and she was gone for a couple of days and she dead to me. That's stay cat now. But yeah, I gotta drop off. Yeah, I'll tell y'all about that later. And I got a big day tomorrow. I'll tell y'all about it later. But
all right.
No Around the Horn. It's been 3 hours. We gotta.
It's been around the horn for an hour.
Richard, you're not wrong.
I know. So hey, as always, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. I think this is a record night for 3 hours straight, and it was fun. That 3 hours happened faster than what I anticipated, but we got to go. So, as always, thank y'all for hanging out. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to stay with us, and we appreciate that. God bless, and good night.
Good night. Peace. Bye.
Like,